Now the church that we went to is one of those churches where it's like you're bound to run into like a congressman or
Okay.
something like that.
Oh,
Like
was it like a
it's
mega
that kind of
church or
church.
something?
Yeah, yeah. It's like
It
a
was one of the big ones.
it was one of them joints. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna
They
see a
had the
link.
lighting
Yeah, they had
and the
that joint
screen.
was they had everything, all of
They
that.
had all the things. Okay.
Yeah, they had, I mean, they had in the parking lot, the kind of whips they had in the parking lot. You
Okay.
just kind of, you just
It was
kind
a
of know.
special lot that you're not supposed to park in
Yeah, yeah.
unless you get if you ain't got it. Don't
You
park
just,
in that lot.
for sure. You just know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You niggas got they got valet at church now.
you know what? They might. There's some churches. You know,
Chill.
I think there's some churches
You
that
think
do
they got
have that.
valet
I
at
think there's
church?
some, bro. I think there's some churches that do that. Loki,
Oh, really?
I've
Like
personally
where?
been, bro. First of all, that's
Potter's
ultra
house?
cringe, right? I don't know. I've never been there. I've never been there. I don't know. I don't know.
Darwin, what are you doing here?
It's challenge day.
So what's up, y'all? It's Challenge Day, season 5. It is
What
episode
up?
8. It's episode 8. So we glad you guys have joined us on this journey. Challenge Day. Jeff Not Jeffrey, starring Darko. We definitely got quite a few things that we would like to bring to the masses as you guys tune into our show.
Give the
Again, we
people what they
appreciate,
want.
yeah, for sure. We appreciate you guys for the support, and for tuning in and peeping what we got going on. We
And
definitely
liking and
like it.
subscribing and sharing,
Yeah, we've been
especially
definitely
when you
been doing
share.
that. Yeah, we've been seeing that the viewership has been going up steadily. So we definitely feel pretty good about the content that we like to deliver to you folks, to everyone who watches the show and everything. So I even personally, when I was actually away for a little bit, there were some folks in my family in particular said that they tap into the show, which I thought was pretty cool.
Dope.
Um, so I was like, that's solid. That's solid. So yeah, again, so we appreciate y'all. Again, like bro said, like, comment, subscribe. We'll continue to deliver. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, we wanna just do a little bit more some housekeeping. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on all the different social media platforms that you like to frequent. Our channel, the social handle for our channel is at Another Challenge Day. Again, that is at like the at symbol. Another Challenge Day. You'll find that to be our social handle on all the platforms that you like to visit and spend time on. So just a quick thing to get up out the way. So we'll jump right into the show. First things first, mass count. What you got?
It's actually decent news overall. Um, we are okay. So last time it was 479. Now we're at 493. But last year we were like 600 something around this time of year. Um, and the year before that as well. This is the lowest it's been since like 2019. Um, but with that said, there was a recent incident in Savannah, Georgia. And in this instance, let's see, where is this? Like I said, we're at 493, right? We're at 493. So in
Yeah.
this one, there were looks like six victims. Is it five victims? Yep, five victims. People injured. Nobody killed. This was yesterday. Um, Nobody killed, so that's a good thing, but still the suspect is on the loose. This is in Georgia's first district. The representative there is Earl Buddy Carter. And man, I really like Savannah. I like that city. You ever been to Savannah?
I've never been to Savannah. It's mad country though.
Yeah, I think it's dope. Been down to waterfront right there. There's that Haitian monument is there.
Yeah.
Um, so folks, if you're ever in Savannah, and they're not shooting up the place, check out that monument.
Mm-hmm.
It was in what was it? The British this was like one of the wars they were fighting over there or something in like 1780 or 90, not
Mm-hmm.
90, 1770 something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be 1780, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Haitians helped defend the city.
Yeah.
And so they, to the point where they even put the monument up, and it's there today,
Mm-hmm.
and you could check out and see the contribution that the Haitians made. Shout out to Georgia, shout out Savannah, and that why when we identify as saying we're black and we just got dropped off at a different port, my guy.
Pretty
Um,
much.
but shout out. Well, not shout out, but pick up your phone and call out Earl Buddy Carter, Republican in Georgia, on what is he doing to help stem gun violence in your community. What is he doing to extend background checks and keeping the public safe when there's these gatherings, especially a place like Savannah. It's a beautiful place, and it's a shame to have like that kind of stigma stuck to you if you're there. All right, so we are jumping right into the throwback rundown real quick of the news on some things that we've been tracking. We have some updates coming out of Syria. Now,
Okay.
this is more, we do a couple of these international stories, and typically there's some kind of American tentacle in it. So that's why, we have this interest in the sectarian violence in Syria that has been less intense than feared since Assad's ouster. So Assad, uh, brutal dictator, and he's a whole family of dictators. He was the latest one, and this war's been going on forever. But let's read up what they say here. I'm reading from AP News. The toppling of Bashar al-Assad has raised tentative hopes that Syrians might live peacefully and as equals after a half century of authoritarian rule. While there have been bursts of deadly sectarian violence in the days since Assad was ousted, it's nothing close to what was feared after nearly 14 years of civil war. Much credit for the relative calm so far is being given to the Islamic militant group that led the insurgency. So I want to pause right there and say that an Islamic militant group is not by definition a terrorist group.
Mm-hmm.
But let me read on and with that grain of salt there. This militant group was against Assad and is helping to rebuild the country and unite its many factions. The group, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or most people call it HTS, has ties to Al Qaeda. So, grain of salt absorbed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but it has vowed not to discriminate against any religion or ethnicity and has denounced revenge killings. In the days since Assad's fall, dozens of Syrians have been killed in acts of revenge, according to activists and experts who monitor Syria. The vast majority have been from the minority Alawite community and an offshoot of Shia Islam that the Assad family adheres to. We have troops in Syria. So this
Yeah.
government has fallen. They're working their way to having some form, some semblance of a peacekeeping force by the what are militants, um, but still having the ties to Al Qaeda like that. It can be dicey, right? When there's no
Mm-hmm.
formal government in tech. So we have troops in harm's way. Um, Biden didn't bring them home. Well, I guess he still has time to do that. You were there as a peacekeeping force, and it looks like these people are trying to keep the peace. You're not the world police. I could see a lot of people being like, "All right, man, pull our people out of there." Um, if he doesn't, Trump just might do it. I think Trump had threatened to do it last time, and so if
Mm-hmm.
Trump pulls them out, Trump's going to be seen as a hero. Look at that. He's ending wars. He's getting our people out of harm's way, kind of thing. I don't think it's well, I mean, I'm not I don't know all the implications of pulling them out, but Trump is talking about doing it. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that want us to reduce our footprint anyway. So I don't see it being that controversial for Biden to just do the thing of just getting these people out of there right now. But we do want to have a stable place so that we can we do have interest around the world. So we do have one that place too. So hopefully it can stay safe and stay safe, stable. Moving on to another part of the world in South Korea, this government was a little shaky for a while. Actually, it still is. Um, the crisis apparently is nowhere near over. I am reading on this South Korean story. Um, from theatlantic.com. The past 2 weeks in South Korea, politics have featured enough twists to fill a Netflix drama. President Yoon Suk Yeol declared martial law, shocking even some of his own advisors. In a late night session, the national legislator overturned it. A few days later, the besieged president begged forgiveness from his people while corruption scandal engulfed the first lady. Legislators voted to impeach Yoon last weekend and suspended his powers, which have been transferred to a caretaker government run by the prime minister. For now, Yoon remains in office. The country's highest court will decide whether he can stay. This dude declared martial law off of just like conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that North Korean people had infiltrated his government. And like he's listening to, I think he's listening to podcasts and all these things over there. They're like got him down this rabbit hole,
Mm-hmm.
and he himself he's actually believing in these. And like everybody in his government is like, bro, we're all vetted, we're all good. There's there's a chance that could be a spy or two here and there because that's every country, right? We
Mm-hmm.
might have people. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard in America allegedly, you know, what I mean, might be on somebody else's payroll, you know, but he went as far as to declare martial law. Um, and when you do that, you're suspending people's constitutional rights of whatever your
Mm-hmm.
country
Yeah.
is. And folks wasn't having it, and the legislators met, and they're like, "Nah, bro, you bugging."
Yeah.
And then he's asking for forgiveness from his people, like for doing this thing. It only lasted. I don't even think it lasted 48 hours. I don't remember exactly how long that bit lasted, but the U.S. has 30,000 troops there, right? So we are always keeping an eye on North Korea from
Mm-hmm.
our vantage point there, you know what I mean, and China. And we have people in that whole peninsula. And so it behooves us to pay attention to what's going on around the world, right? Some of
Of
you may
course.
be in the military or you might have military family. I was in the Navy. I did my time, and I deployed to this region. I went to Japan twice. So it can be relatively calm when you're in South Korea, thinking that things are sweet because we've been keeping the rest of them at bay for a while with our presence in these spaces.
Mm-hmm.
But Kim Jong Un ain't that, you know what I mean, ain't somebody to always be kind of trusted like that, And he be just throwing rockets, so just to test them and don't tell nobody nothing, you know. And one day it could be like a little close call. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a danger zone. It's and especially now with the government fell again. Last week we mentioned like things tend to be a better place to live where governments are stable. And
Yeah.
we wouldn't want an unstable government
The
in
universal
South Korea.
understanding, I think.
You don't want an unstable government here. You don't want an unstable government in North Korea. You or Iran. You
Mm-hmm.
want some logical thinking people over there that's like not buying to conspiracy theories that are like, you know what I mean, not on missions, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if is that PC to say? I don't know, is that still is that so we want stable people around, even if we disagree, we at least want stability.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're something
Some form of
when
governance.
yeah, when USSR fell, there's like where all these nuclear warheads went. A lot of them are still unaccounted
Yeah.
for.
A lot of it actually fueled the arms race quite a bit. There are
Hmm.
like all types of weapons that Russia has built that are like in countries that Russia's never even stepped foot in this country. How did it end up here? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it fueled a lot of the black market when it came to that. So, Darn has a
You got
point.
anything else on this South Korea business?
No, not at all. I just hope that I just hope that they figure it out, man. Because South Korea and North Korea have been on a they've been
On a
doing a
knife's
staring
edge.
contest for yeah, they've
A
been doing a
knife's
staring
edge.
contest for like
Yeah.
for like decades now.
That
So
demilitarized
um,
zone
yeah, you feel me? So it's like the first person that blink, it's gonna be a wrap. So
is on.
it's on. So I just hope they somehow figure it out. Because at this point, they gotta realize that, man, we've been staring at each other for too long, and our eyes are starting to hurt. So we gotta
Yeah.
figure something out. So yeah, that's all I
Yeah.
got.
All right. Well, next up, we have these drones that y'all might have heard about flying around New Jersey.
Yeah, that
This
seems
one,
very strange. That's a very strange. Yeah.
turns out it's not that strange after all. But
Mm-hmm.
these th- this segment comes from Forbes,
Mm-hmm.
Forbes.com.
Mm-hmm.
New York adds dozens of drone bans after New Jersey does it. The Federal Aviation Administration (FAA) continued. That's Pete Buttigieg's beat.
Yeah.
Continued its drone crackdown Friday, adding 29 cities across New York to the region's temporary ban of unapproved drones for security concerns as officials investigate reported drone sightings in the region amid public curiosity about the sightings. President Biden, this has been going on for several weeks now. All kinds of speculation going on. People in Congress talking about it with their freaking time right before the holidays, which they don't got much time to be discussing bullshit. They need to be actually, wheels on a scare with the government shutting down. Uh, but Congress is wasting time with stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to uh, Biden finally gets around to saying something about it. While everybody thought they might have been, I think there was people out there shooting at these things. People worried, you know what I mean, thinking, stressed out. These things are flying over their house and stuff. They're just like, people didn't feel safe. President Biden finally spoke publicly for the first time. This was last Tuesday at the White House about the reported drones, responding to a reporter with they're checking it all out, but that it's nothing nefarious apparently, and poses so far no sense of danger, adding that there are a lot of drones authorized up there, and he thinks one started it and everybody wanted to get in on the deal. I don't know exactly what he said there. I don't think he knows what he just said there, but they've done. I think who came out and said this, but they've investigated, and they're like, turns out it's it's commercial drones, it's recreation drones.
Mm-hmm.
One sighting was a helicopter. Another sighting was a plane. It's like all regular stuff that should be up there,
Yeah.
and had everybody going crazy because they at once you saw there was an uptick in drones,
Mm-hmm.
but like you start seeing a bunch of these, like I feel like I haven't seen a bunch of drones like this. I've seen planes and helicopters, but like with all the blinking lights that I'm seeing now
Yeah.
that the drones are adding to, it just helps people's imaginations be like, yo, there's something here. There's something weird happening. And why are they all doing this? It could be a bunch of people just having a goof. You know what I mean? Be like, yo, we're gonna take our drones out every night and just, fly them out. Like you got
At the same
to
time,
like a
kind of thing.
drone meetup or something like that.
Which is very
Either
possible
way,
now.
it,
So some
it
people are
is.
kind
But
of
I'm
into
like,
it.
yo, government, just say something. Calm people down so people's shooting at this stuff. Now bullets don't know where they land. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Trying to think they can shoot these things down. And there's all kinds of rules that they're breaking, all kinds of laws that they're breaking by doing that, firing a weapon like that. So it's but Biden once again is late to the party.
Mm-hmm.
He's late to the party. Like, bro, you let this thing go on for weeks before you put something out, and even what he put out didn't really shut it down. It turns out it's nothing at the end of the day, right? He's late on the drones. He's been late on the when Ukraine is like, we need these particular weapons, and can we use them for this purpose? Oh no, oh no. He's like, oh no, oh no. And then like 2, 3 weeks later, or a month or so later, he goes along and does it. Bruh, they just lost all kinds of freaking infrastructure, all kinds of roads and cities and
Yeah.
stuff like that with all that freaking him and Holland that you doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was late on dropping out the goddamn race. Right? He should have been dropped out of the damn race. By the
Yeah.
time he drops out, can't nobody overcome that deficit.
Yeah.
He's just always freaking late, bro. Um, uh, the 97 crime bill, and now when he's in office, finally he's trying to
Undo
did the
all
thing
of
with the
that.
rescheduling of the marijuana, but like he still ain't even really pushing that hard. That should, like, bro, you have a chance, like, but I mean, even if he does it now, I'm still gonna be like, you mad late because like you've been in office this whole time,
Yeah.
and that should have been a priority for you to make up. You talking about you want to make up for these past wrong stuff. Fucking legalize the goddamn thing. You should have been pushing for that, along with these other things that you're pushing.
I mean, it's obvious that he's going down, and I think that pretty much every president does this. There's a litany of things that they just that comes across their desk. I mean, they make all these promises and all these different things that they say they want to do, but a lot of times it's really just what comes down the pike, what comes to their desk, and obviously some of these particular concerns, like the ones that you're expressing, they just don't make the top of the list soon enough, and that's what it appears to me that's been happening.
Well, it's because niggas is involved. It's because niggas is involved.
I mean, that's part of it too. Yeah, there's definitely
And
limits.
the 97 crime bill has a bunch of black people in prison still. There's
Yeah.
3,000 federal cannabis inmates
Yeah,
as we speak.
yeah.
Biden's already pardoning people. He pardoned his son.
Mm-hmm.
He pardoned this one pardon, and we're gonna talk about it a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But like These people are currently serving decades still in prison for cannabis related crimes. Where's their pardon? Where's their pardon? Like this is like cannabis, and it's not even like drug dealer level stuff. It's like possession and like
Mm-hmm.
it happens to be over a certain amount. Like
Yeah.
get them out,
Yeah, we know
give
how
them
that
their
go.
pardon that they need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but he's always late to the party. He's gonna probably do something. He's gonna be mad later on it. This nigga gonna be late for his own funeral, I swear. Not the last up, but the next up, this one is wild to when we got off last week, I saw the headline. Just like we got off, we done recording, not last week, the week before. We just done recording, and boom, I get this headline that Jay-Z's being accused of being part of that Diddy joint.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's been a whirlwind week or two. Wow, but it's looking like grand opening, grand closing with this joint.
Yeah.
Reading here from NBCnews.com, an Alabama woman who accused Jay-Z and Diddy of raping her when she was 13 years old sat down with NBC News to recount what she called a catastrophic event: a limo ride to a White House, a drink that made her feel woozy, a sexual assault by rap stars that would ruin her life. But the woman and her lawyers also acknowledged that there were some inconsistencies in her account. Oh boy. You can't. I mean, I think you probably should have had that worked out before you put it on wax, though,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So that's this is tough. She goes, I was upset, and the person at the gas station could tell that I was obviously upset, and she let me use the phone. I called my dad because he was the only person I trusted. The gas station was what she did is she said when that event happened to her at the house, I don't know, she said she fought her way out of there, but she got out of there and walked up the street somewhere and got to a gas station, and that's the gas station she's talking about. They let her use the phone. She's like she says, my dad was the only person I could trust at the time. I told him I messed up and I needed a ride home. This is what she told NBC News.
Mm-hmm.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was. Okay, couple points here. Mommy's 13 years old at the time, allegedly. Um, and this was 5 hours away from her home. Pops had to drive 5 hours to get her,
Mm-hmm.
5 hours back. You may be my 20-year-old daughter, or maybe even my 18-year-old daughter, but your 13-year-old daughter, apparently you're still in her life, and you're the only one she can trust at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Your 13-year-old, first of all, what you doing, Pops? What you doing? How your daughter 13 and 5 hours away from the crib? Okay. And this was like it ended up being something like 1 o'clock in the morning or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can think of a few scenarios how that could be possible, but
5 hours away
mm-hmm.
off of some like up above board shit.
No, off of some like trying to be sneaky or running away.
Okay, five
That's
hours
what I'm
is
talking about.
wild.
Yeah,
But here's
jumping on a
the but
greyhound and getting up out
oh,
there.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's not. But I actually don't have a gripe with that. I guess I drug that part out too long.
Mhm.
He picks you up and then you drive in silence. You gonna let you and your
Yeah,
daughter finna
driving
drive in
side. Yeah,
silence, Jeff?
that's the part that's like, yeah, that's not. I don't think
That's why I
that
said
could.
I understand she's 21 or 18. Maybe she could get away with that silent
Yeah,
treatment kind of thing.
yeah, but
Your
not at
13-year-old year
13.
old daughter,
Not at 13. No.
it ain't gonna be silent. I mean, she might be silent, maybe traumatized and don't want to say anything, but
Mm.
she ain't gonna recall the story and say he like no, he was yelling the entire ride back. He was trying to dig in to what happened the entire ride back. It was not a silent ride back. I
Mm-hmm.
ain't give him no information because I was traumatized. And I said, but ain't no way you gonna have a silent ride. Nobody saying nothing. 5 hours.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
13-year-old. And then the pops was like, no, I don't remember that. This is what he's saying now. He's like, I don't remember. He's like, I think I would
Keeping it
remember
real.
my
Mm.
13-year-old daughter,
Yeah.
5 hour drive to go pick her up, saying she's traumatized, something happened to her. She says, I messed up, daddy. And then I'm just gonna come pick her up and then leave, and I'm not gonna remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I think y'all should have probably got this story a little bit more. Y'all should probably
Yeah,
did
they
a
probably should have
little
worked
bit
on it a
more
bit more.
vetting. Um, he didn't ask me what I did or where I was. He didn't even ask you. This is wild. I hate everything about this story. I hate everything about it.
Mhm.
I wish that I hope that I hope this person is lying because I don't want to know that this yet another person was sexually assaulted out there in the universe, especially if
Mhm.
she was 13 years old,
Mhm.
right? So I'm hoping she's lying. If she's not lying, it's like, dang, that's so messed up that that happened to you.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry it's been this long. You've been have to live with that. Um, and at the same time, because you had to live with it so long because you were traumatized, maybe you're recalling details. It's been a long time. It's hard to remember details. But when you, even if it did happen, when your stories recounted like this, it's up. It's over. Like if you can't, these are some key things that that you're gonna have to if you really want whatever conclusion you're trying to get this out there. Like you're gonna need some better details than that. I want to believe you. If you tell the
Mhm.
truth, I want to hope that you're not lying.
Mhm.
But the evidence, the way it's laid out, is not looking good. It's not looking good on her and this claim. And then meanwhile, Jay Z has to kind of be on defense here, defend his name.
The damage has already been done.
I don't think the damage is done because he still got the
No.
Super Bowl, for example.
Yeah.
It's some damage is done,
Yes,
but
I mean
like
it's
it
it's
ain't
it's still out there. It's still out there. I mean the NFL, Roger Goodell came out and said that hey, we're still working with Jay Z. We still
right. But
the
if it was
plans that we have. But
corroborated, then it definitely would have dropped him.
yeah, of course, yeah, of
You see what I'm
course,
saying? So
yeah,
that would be the
yeah,
damage if it really ruined him
yeah.
like that.
But it's
So
but the damage as far as the court of public opinion, the damage has already been done. Like it's already in the air. It's
yeah,
already because it's not like people hadn't already suspected or had in their minds that Jay Z was involved with Diddy and some of these things, regardless if it's true or not. People had
they
already
weren't
because
really friends like that though. They
yeah,
they
no,
they
but
were
this is
industry friends kind of
but
thing.
this is what but this is what I'm saying though. But they were associate they are looked at as folks who are in a particular type of club. Like they
Yeah,
are at this particular level, this echelon type of person.
yeah.
So people are naturally just gonna assume that they had something going on, regardless of what their thoughts are. So that's what I'm saying where the damage is already done in that case. Because it's like that type of stuff is just all it takes is just a mustard seed. That's what I'm saying. All it takes is a mustard seed, and then that joint
Yeah.
can grow into something, can fester into something crazy. So that's what I'm saying.
So the next thing is we're gonna shift from that, and we're gonna wait around to, we'll update on it to see what updates come over the next weeks and months. But moving on to your man's just never, he just never, he never stops. So we're going to do some back to back stories, kind of related to Trump. But we have the latest update on the Matt Gaetz story, right? And remember, Trump nominated this guy to be Attorney General. Now he eventually dropped out, and Pam Bondi was replaces him now as a nominee. But one of the reasons that Matt Gaetz dropped out of Congress, there, people are speculating is that if he dropped out of Congress, there was a report that was an ethics report that was going to come out about him because he's already had allegations himself. Speaking of Diddy, like that kind of allegation, right? Those kinds of
Mhm.
allegations, and
No surprise there.
I'll just read here from the BBC. Gates paid tens of thousands for sex and drugs. Ethics reports says so.
It's always the same.
The report comes out.
Hmm.
He's like, oh, if I drop out, the report won't come out. They threatened that it was gonna come out. It was gonna still come out. B, if he gets nominated, he's AG, he could just drop this whole thing, right? If he becomes Attorney General, he could drop the whole thing.
Yep.
But so much pressure, he had to drop out of that. And C, so he's like, well, um, they voted and they're like, no, we're not going to bring it out. He's no longer part of the body of Congress. And then they ended up revoting, bringing it back up, and it actually finally came out. Former Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz spent tens of thousands of dollars on sex and drugs while serving as a U.S. congressman. While serving as a U.S. congressman, according to a long-awaited report from the House of Representatives Ethics Committee. It follows a years-long investigation into allegations of sexual misconduct and illicit drug use by Gaetz, who President-elect Trump wanted to serve as the nation's top lawman. The committee also found evidence that Gaetz, who was 42, who is 42, received gifts in excess of permissible amounts in connection to a 2018 trip to the Bahamas. The former lawmaker has repeatedly denied wrongdoing, saying that he is the victim of a smear campaign. Amid the controversy, he withdrew from consideration to serve as the U.S. Attorney General. Um, I'll skip along here. From 2017 to 2020, Gaetz made payments. This is what's alleged in this thing here. Made payments totaling more than $90,000 to 12 different women that the committee determined were likely in connection with sexual activity and or drug use. Conservative party, huh? Party of morality. Party of party of what do you call it? The sanctity of marriage and all that kind of stuff, right? And this guy's living in this depravity. And finally, I'll read here. Additionally, the report contains testimony that Gaetz paid for sex with a 17-year-old at a party in 2017, giving her $400, which she understood to be payment for sex. Gaetz has denied having sex with the minor. So he's denied it, but they have corroborating evidence. They have text messages and stuff like that. Plus, apparently, it's an open secret when he was there. People in Congress are like, "Yo, he's showing us him partying in some of these parties, having sex with people." They can't say in the picture, in the video, if it's one of these minors, but like he's showing this like it's a buddy kind of thing, like locker room kind of joint. And apparently, he might have invited somebody to one of these Congress people to one of these sex parties, but like maybe it was an all-white party. I don't know, associated with somebody. Just putting that out there. Potentially, there could be a connection. I don't know. It would be irresponsible not to speculate. But the judgment,
That is egregious.
the judgment of Donald Trump to nominate this person to be Attorney General, the top law enforcement official.
He was just doing them solid. That's all that was. Qualifications.
Why would you even associate anywhere close to this thing? This is like Epstein level type stuff. Not quite Epstein level, because Epstein was flying them out and all that, and he had a whole island.
Yeah, that boy had a whole island. Yeah, that was crazy.
That boy had a whole island, but like, why? I mean, out of all the people in the country, out of all the attorneys and stuff, especially practicing attorneys or judges, you're gonna nominate this guy, and even if it was supposed to be a like a 3-card Monty kind of situation, why would you even want to be associated as having nominated this guy? Because that speaks on your judgment.
Yeah.
Speaking of judgment, Trump really think y'all out here trying to buy his cologne. Fight cologne. You heard about this?
No, I didn't hear about this. This is this man.
You didn't look into it?
I didn't hear about this actually. No. Fight cologne. This guy's a hustler, man.
CBS News reporting here. Trump uses photo of himself with First Lady Jill Biden to announce new fragrance line. You see the picture that they talking about if you scroll down?
Yeah.
So they went to France because they reopened Notre Dame after they had that fire a couple years ago. A few years ago. How long was that? I don't know what year. I remember back when that happened. But Biden wasn't there, but Jill Biden represented, and she was out there, and Trump was sitting next to her. Because that's how they designate the different countries and the space you get to sit there, of course. And she's first lady. He's a president-elect. Biden can't go, so there she is. So President-elect Donald Trump on Sunday used a photo of himself sitting next to First Lady Jill Biden to announce a new line of fragrance on his Truth Social app with the caption, "A fragrance your enemies can't resist." Right? The fragrance line is called Fight.
That fire, by the way, was April 2019.
2019. Okay.
April 2019, yeah.
Less than a decade. They rebuilt that thing. Includes cologne for this fight line includes cologne for men and a perfume for women, each retailing for $200.
$200, yeah.
Trump is also selling bundles of 2 or more fragrances, and it's time for the holidays, people. You gotta get your bundle with the second item 50% off, according to GetTrumpFragrance.com. What you think that bitch smell like?
I was thinking about that when we first started even talking about
What
this.
that bitch smell like?
I don't know. I don't know.
What did that bitch just smell like? Trump.
But do we have to know what Trump smell like?
Then you would know. Buy this, and it's like, this is how I smell. But I'm not talking about it smells like a cologne. I'm talking about it just smells like Trump.
It just smells like, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Like
Yeah.
you standing next to that food, like,
Yeah.
I smell. I smell some bullshit.
Mm.
What that smell? Oh, it's my new fight. You like that? You like that? Make fragrances great again.
I can't really imagine what
Oh
it could
no.
actually even smell like though. I'm
Yeah, it's
also
probably gonna
wondering,
be a
like,
review. Somebody's probably gonna do a review.
yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, this dude just hawking all kinds of stuff. He had the watches. He was selling watches for $100,000. Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, and then of
He
course he
had
had
the
the
coin,
shoes.
the commemorative coin,
Oh
the
yeah, he had the coin
shoes,
and the shoes.
the
Yeah.
Trump Force one. There's these there's actually they just dropped a new pair because he won the election.
Mm.
So these are called the Trump won gold low top sneakers. You get that bid for $500 right now if you pre-order
For
it.
500. Oh my
Five
gosh.
hundred bid. The Trump one, and it's got like 45-47 at the bottom.
Yo, like the way that Trump be dropping like random products for sale, like you would think like
Sound like a
he's
broke
like,
nigga.
yes, what I'm saying. He sound like a
Sound
guy
like a
like
broke.
a guy in the hood that's hustling trying to get his bread up. Like it's so crazy to me.
Sound
Like he's moving like
Yo,
somebody on the block. Like,
this dude is really
bro.
he's a grifter. He's just can he and he'll take money out of a homeless person's cup. He'll take it out of their cup. This dude squeezes every dime out of any situation. When he was president, remember he was having people stay at his hotels that come visit, like these nationals
Mhm,
that come in, and
mhm.
like he get paid for it. He was charging the Secret Service to
I mean
stay
that. I
at.
mean that's. I mean that's not bad. That's not
That's what
bad.
you want your government to do. That's
No,
the kind
no,
of.
not the government. I'm talking about the other folks that come that flying from different countries. Like,
But
hey,
that's your government. It's like he's your government at that point. And you want your
that's
government to be
true.
like individuals that just put line up their own pockets.
I mean,
That's what you want. You saying
no, that's not
that's
what
kind of
I
what you
want.
want.
No, I'm just saying that I see the play though. I see the play.
Okay.
I see the play. I'm just saying. That's all I said.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all.
And so this is how
Now,
just
now,
like
now,
that's how we end
now,
up
from a
forgiving him.
macro perspective, I agree with you.
This is
But
how we
I
laugh it
see,
off and how we forgive him for the bullshit
I see,
and the
I see the
judgment.
play. Okay.
So that's it for our roundup of the news. But back to you for the sports take. Jeff, what's going on the sports angle of
Things that's been
things?
going on that have a little bit more notoriety, like the NBA Cup, the Emirates NBA Cup recently ended. The Bucks
Mhm.
won. This game was actually pretty entertaining. Actually, it gave you like a '90s NBA basketball kind of vibe because it was like a very like defensive minded game. And for today's basketball, for today's
Yeah.
game, it's a very low scoring game, 97-81. Like, when's the last time you saw
Mhm.
that score in the past 10 years or so? Like, 97-81. The Bucks they beat OKC, and OKC being like top
Okay,
three
see, he's
team in
looking
the
pretty
West.
good now.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Bunch of young boys.
it's a bunch of young boys hooping. They can
Mhm.
hoop, man. And Shy is like top five. He's an MVP candidate. I mean, that guy is just he's a bucket getter. I mean, he's bro is a superstar. Like that's
Mhm.
just what it is. Like he's really that. Um, so, but it was a really good game. But you got a proven superstar, right? And Giannis Antetokounmpo, former champion. So he wanted to make a point, and he went crazy that game too. So he let's see let's see what the stats we got here. But the thing is, OKC didn't play a good game. They shot poorly, very poorly, from 3 points, so that kind of affected him as well. But Giannis got a solid 26 points, 19 and 10. 26, 19, and 10. That's a wild triple double there. And Shea, he didn't really play that well. 21, 4 and 4. Sorry, 21, 4 and 2. So, but again, like I said, the team as a whole, OKC just didn't shoot well. So, if you in the NBA now, if you don't shoot well in today's game, like you're not gonna win games. You got to
Mhm.
be able to shoot well, and you got to be able to score a lot to win games. So especially if you're playing like some of the more like the
I
top
hate
seeded
when I hate a bad
conferences.
3-point shooting team that loves shooting threes, dog.
Yeah, because they keep forcing
Doing,
issue. They keep forcing
doing,
issue. Yeah, but
doing.
why that is?
Make the game go long.
It's because of NBA. It's because of the analytics. NBA analytics has
Just
forced
keep
like
shooting.
coaches to pretty much push their players to like, hey, we need you to shoot more threes because the analytics say this and that. So that's why the game has become more two dimensional as far as offense goes, where it's find a 3 point shot, pick and roll, or get to the lane, and try to get a bucket in the paint. So the mid range has pretty much been abandoned for the most part, except for those guys that you know have added that to the game. You can see a couple guys that
Bam
are able to do
Adebayo.
that. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, or even like Anthony Edwards. A couple guys. Shea is the midi killer too. KD, KD, that's actually his majority of his shots. So Devin Booker. So there's a couple guys I can say, but it's just the way that the game is now. Let's move on to something else. CFP, college football playoffs. So the first round of the CFP it has completed actually, and it was kind of I don't know, it was kind of disappointing. A few couple games.
I thought
Um,
all the games went off as expected, pretty much.
yeah,
Like
I
top
mean,
seeds won every time, didn't they?
not every time. I mean, there are some games that we thought would be more competitive, and some of those games just kind of just got really bad. Like the Tennessee Ohio State game. Like Ohio State beat them 42-7, and
That was
Ohio State ranked
nasty.
number 8, Tennessee ranked number 9. I mean, we didn't think they were going to smoke like that, but they
Mhm.
but they got if you watched it, because I watched most of the game. If you watched the game, like Ohio State was killing Tennessee. Like Tennessee got smoked. Penn State they destroyed SMU. SMU had a decent little Cinderella season, but
They
Penn
ain't look
State
like they
smoked them.
belong in that game at all.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people were saying too, and it looks like a lot of folks were proven right. So,
Alabama
North,
could have been in that spot.
yeah, it probably would have been more competitive, honestly. So now Alabama has, they have a little bit of they have some ammo to kind of complain. You know what I'm
They
saying?
could
So
complain all they want though. They gotta
yeah,
win their games, bro. Sorry.
yeah. At the end of the day, like you can't be coming into CFP with three losses.
Yeah.
That's my whole argument. Like we love seeing SEC teams in these postseason type of tourney games, but at the end of the day, Bill, like you got three losses, Bill. Like you got to give the other team another chance. Three losses is kind of crazy at this point, even if you're an SEC team. You know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't even look good as a record. But anyways,
Yeah.
Texas and Clemson 38-24. That game was kind of like that game could have been a close game, but Texas kind of pulled away at the end. And they ended up winning it 38-24. Um not really much to go on to go on there. Just Texas just took care of business at the end of the day. That's what it came down to. They made a couple more plays, played defense and scored more. Quinn Ewers, or however you pronounce the QB name for Texas. I mean, Shorty's a real deal. He's definitely solid. But yeah, Texas is I think Texas at that number 5 spot is deserving
Taking
of like
taking
a
a long line of good quarterbacks coming out there with Vince Young.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, the problem is a lot of those quarterbacks don't last in the league, but we gonna see.
yeah.
We're gonna see. I mean, and they got like another like young stud behind Quinn Ewers, which is the Manning kid, and
Archie.
he's yeah. Is it Archie Man? Yeah, I think it's Archie. Yeah, Archie. Um, so he's behind him. So we'll see what he do next year once this QB gets up out of there. So the last game, Indiana, Notre Dame. Notre Dame took care of business too. Notre Dame pretty much had the game handled early on. Indiana scored a little bit late, but the game was already out of reach. So they got them boys up out of there. So you got those four. Moving on: Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, Notre Dame. So Texas plays in the actual what is it? The semifinals, quarterfinals. Sorry, quarterfinals. You got Texas versus Arizona State. You got Ohio State versus Oregon. Oregon's going to kill Ohio State. You got Penn State versus Boise State. That's going to be interesting. And you got Notre Dame versus Georgia. That's going to be a really good game. I think that's probably going to be game of the week. So
I
all
want
these
to catch
games
that
are being
Oregon
played.
game.
That Oregon game is they gonna smoke Ohio State. Yeah, they gonna smoke him. But I think the game of the day is
I
gonna
like
be
seeing Ohio State lose. That's my favorite pastime.
yeah, I feel that. I
Yeah.
feel that. So, but yeah, so all those are going down January 1st, and three of those games are going down January 1st, and one of them are going down on the 31st. So yeah, tune in, and these four games are like now you have the actual like four bowls that we know of, right? Peach Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl. So that's CFP. Two stories that I kind of wanted to talk about real quick, and I'm going to try to get through as quickly as I can. Caitlin Clark recently accepted the award of, I think she's Time Magazine's WNBA Player of the Year.
Athlete of the
Uh,
year. She
I think the
athlete in WNBA with specific category.
yeah, I think it said WNBA. Yeah, because I'm looking at it. Oh, sorry. To be more clear. WNBA Rookie of the Year. um, Caitlin Clark. So Times 2024 Athlete of the Year is WNBA Rookie of the Year,
Okay.
Caitlin Clark.
She got both of them.
Um, yeah, so it appears so. So it's pretty clear if anybody was following WNBA, it's pretty clear that she was like the most popular player, whether that was um, good press or bad press. But she was the most popular player, definitely to be talked about as of recent years, especially for the WNBA. She's WNBA, especially in recent years. So really the talk of the time was her and Angel Reese, the beef that they had in college and the competition, the battles, having those same battles in the WNBA. So it's pretty entertaining to see. And we all know the different coverages that they have, but I'm not gonna go into that because that's a whole different rabbit hole. But she did, Caitlin Clark trying to, she trying to keep it G. It kind of to me, it sounded like more of I'm not racist because I have black friends kind of vibe.
What are you talking about?
It gave me that. I'm gonna explain. It gave me that vibe. I'm not calling her racist. I'm not calling her that. But I'm saying it gave me that kind of vibe, right? Based on what she was saying here. So as she accepted this honor, right? She said that, you know what? I understand that privilege is something that I have as a white star in a mostly black sport, which is true because the WNBA was certainly built majority by black women. I agree with that because you have Lisa Leslie, Maya Moores, you have Candace Parker, you have a bunch of greats, right? Sue, not Sue, sorry. What's the Cheryl Swoops? Cheryl Swoops, who's arguably probably the greatest WNBA player of all time, um, especially winningest. But she's arguably like the goat of women's
Okay, so you
basketball.
agree? So
Um,
she's you agree with her on that? Okay.
So yeah, so I agree with her on that point. And she went on to say, I wouldn't say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there's privilege. A lot of those players in the league that have been really good have been black players. The league has kind of been built on them. And then she went on to say, the more we can appreciate that, highlight that, talk about that, and then continue to have brands and companies invest in those players that have made this league incredible. I think it's very important. I have to continue to keep trying to change that. The more we can elevate black women, that's going to be a beautiful thing. Jamil Hill, I know you're a fan of Jamil Hill. She had something to say about that. She said some of Clark's fans are boycotting her over her comments, right? So that's kind of weird
But
because
I'm still wondering. I'm still trying to see you land a plane on why you said she sounds like I'm not risking to have a black friend kind of thing. It don't sound nothing like that. It sounds like she's
it
legitimately like giving the flowers to the black women.
yeah, yeah, but I guess it's kind of a thing where it's like that's not something that you. I felt like you said that on that particular platform. It felt too convenient for you to say that on that particular platform, right? Like,
Wow, that's
because
tough,
no,
bro. That means she can't say nothing right.
I'm not
That's what
saying
sound
that.
like you
I'm
saying.
not
You saying
saying
she
that.
can't say
I'm
nothing right.
just saying it just felt convenient. It felt really convenient. You had many other opportunities to say that. You had many other
Well, no,
chances to say
depends on
that.
if there was the question
But
before she had. Did she ever say something opposite
no,
as this? Did she
bro.
ever say white women built this league?
No, she never said. Well, actually, I
Okay, so
never heard
because
her
she
say
never made
that.
the specific statement,
But
so
I'm
how
saying
is
the platform. I'm saying the platform. She had many times to mention this because this is not the first time this particular
so is this a
conversation
bad
has.
platform to do it, or like
No, I'm not
just a
saying that. I'm
big
saying I'm
platform?
saying that the timing is convenient. The reason why I say the timing is convenient because this particular conversation about black women building WNBA is not the first time it's been brought up, and it's not the first time it's been brought up with her in the conversation. So I'm saying that and her being the biggest player pretty much around the WNBA with her massive platform on various platforms. This that what she said could have been said long time ago. I think that's what I'm saying.
Okay, she never said it.
And no, not to this
Okay,
degree. No.
so if she never said it, how is
That's why it
it?
feels convenient because
So
I feel
how do
like you
you?
could have said it
But like,
before though,
but like, is
and
it
it probably had a bigger
is it
impact.
it's not
Honestly,
one of those better late than never kind of things? Because she didn't say it on time.
is it though?
This reminds me of when like Kamala Harris was was um was doing her plan on like how to do her campaign, and then she had planned to go on podcast like next month kind of thing. But people were like, go on podcast now, now. But like, bro, my plan is to go on podcast when I go on podcast. Like, and then she eventually went on the podcast, and they're like, oh, now she finally want to go on podcast. I'm like, y'all still complaining she's on the podcast. So it's like because Caitlin Clark never specifically went up for black women, but she never like shit on black women or anything else. Like it's like, and it's not up to her for what the public is saying about her getting the shine. She's never been like, I deserve to shine. Shine on me. Shine on me. No, people were putting cameras in her face. You know, I mean, the industry was looking for her.
I mean,
ESPN and all these sports center
her
people
life is
are
public at
always
this
talking
point.
about
Camera's always
her.
going to be in front of her face right
Yeah,
now.
they're talking about her. She's not the one that's going to sports center and be like, hey, put me on your first segment. They're talking about her. So it's like,
We don't know that.
what?
I hear, I hear you, but we don't know that.
We don't know what.
You said she's not telling people to put her in front of cameras and all that stuff. That's what you said, right? That's what you
Yeah,
just said.
how we?
Yeah,
How
I'm
like
saying I'm like I don't know. We don't know that for sure.
that's a weird. That's a really that's a big leap to
That's
even
not
entertain that.
that's not even a threat to explore further. I was just saying, I was just saying we don't know that.
I'm not
That's all
trying
I
to
will
explore
say.
it. I'm be like, but that's a weird even supposition to even put out there.
I don't think
Either
it is.
way,
I don't think it is.
she is saying the thing she's supposed to say. If
Mm-hmm.
she said, "Oh, white women are the face of the league now,"
Mm-hmm.
they would have ate her up.
That would be crazy. So
They would
I
have ate
can't
her
even
up.
shoot you say
She
that.
says this,
That would be crazy.
and they eating her up.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of like put a little salt, put a little shade on her. Just then, like, mommy can't say, and
It just felt weird. I
okay,
didn't
but
like it.
I'm just saying the
I didn't
facts
like
are
it.
you putting some shade on it. Fine, you saying you call it weird, just a
Yeah,
little
I
shade.
mean, you can call it that.
That's
It's
what it
just
is.
it just I mean, I stand on
Okay,
what I'm gonna stand on regardless. It felt convenient.
okay, so but it's
It
like
felt very convenient.
mommy can't do so.
So
There's nothing she could do right, and I'm not
I
even trying
disagree
to.
with that. I don't think that's what
I'm
that's
not even
saying.
a
I just say it's
Caitlin Clark
convenient.
fan. Anything she does, people jumping down her throat for it. It's kind of wild.
I mean, I understand what you're saying. I don't think that's I don't. I mean, I know that she has been like under a lot of criticism, and I can. I mean, I'm fair to admit that yeah, I think she's been under a lot of criticism. I just feel like a lot of times these type of things,
Niggas is
man, with
blaming
these
her
with these
for
stars.
not doing something. Lord, I hope people have more grace with me like that. Like if make it something that I did.
Mm-hmm,
Tell me she
mm-hmm,
did something racist. Tell me she punched a black player or something like that.
mm-hmm,
But she did nothing because she hasn't said the thing. So
mm-hmm,
that means she effectively did nothing.
mm-hmm.
And because she did nothing, oh, you should have done this. You should have said this statement sooner.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough standard to have to
Eh,
hold somebody to
I,
hold
I get
somebody.
it. I get it, but it felt weird at the time when she was saying it. It's like, I don't know. But anyways, I guess the crux of this whole conversation, yeah, obviously it can be interpreted in different ways, right? But um, I think ultimately, yeah, I think her real maybe her real intent is to actually big up black women. Like maybe it actually is a genuine position that she has, and yeah, I mean, again, if you take it that way, cool. But I don't think I'm the
Like
only
I
person
said,
that
like I said
I
to you
don't think I'm the
before,
only person that took it that way.
when
The
people
way
when
that I took
people
it, I don't think
say
I'm the
when
only
people
person that
tell
took it that
me
way.
who
That's what
they
I'm saying.
are, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I tend to. This is what she says. This is what she believes.
Mm-hmm.
Clark emphasized that the league's success is built on the efforts of black women who have long been at the forefront of the women's basketball. That's her statement.
I
That's her
just don't
statement.
see I don't see things that black and white. So that's just fundamentally how we see things clearly. So I never see things that black and white. So
Yeah, but also,
um
yeah, I don't see things black and white like that too. But I don't just invent my colors when there's no color there. When it is black and white,
I don't think there
it
was
sounds
I
to me
don't
like
think
you're
there was an
inventing
invention.
colors. You just like
No,
putting your own like spin on it, and it's like
I don't
there's
think
no
so.
evidence for that. What's the
I don't
evidence though?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I'm not the only person that responded that
But
way.
it could be a billion of
So,
y'all. Y'all could still
mm,
all be making assumptions versus what she's saying. A
I
billion y'all don't
mean,
mean that you have
I mean, yeah.
company. You
I
have
mean,
company
we
make
can
you
make
feel
assumptions
better.
about anything. We can make
You
assumptions
could
about
feel better
anything, but it
because
is what it
you
is.
have company at being wrong. Oh, I feel great now because it's not just me. Like,
No,
what?
not
Oh.
necessarily. I mean, we're gonna interpret things the way we interpret them, right? Until we're proven wrong, right?
But why interpret it? Why not just
Until
like
the message is refined more, right? It's like
if it's a
okay, maybe I
puzzle,
took it that way.
if it's
Okay,
a
all right,
phil-
cool.
if it's a philosophical statement, there's
Mhm.
interpretation. If it's a poem, there's interpretation. But this is her quote.
There is no universal interpretation to every single thing that's said by anybody. There's all
Right, but
you're
you don't have to
you're gonna
interpret
interpret
it
things.
at all. Is what I'm saying. You
I
don't have
mean,
to interpret it at all.
if you're listening and you're watching and you're observing, you're gonna interpret things a certain way, right? I mean, that's just a natural human thing that happens, right? When you experience things, you're gonna interpret things a certain way in general, right? Like that's just something that happens, right? If you're reading something, if you're listening to something, of course you're gonna
You're
interpret it to
you're
a certain
using
degree
you're
based on your
using the
level of
word
understanding.
you're using the word interpret in a funny way, and it'll take way too much to unpack it. It would take way too much to unpack it right now. Be using the word interpret in a funny way.
Okay.
You can drop it.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with Caitlin Clark. So my position is I hope that she is forthright in all these things that she truly means what she's saying. Because
That'd be
I
nice.
personally I don't take what people say for
Well,
face value.
she's gonna have to like
So,
walk the walk.
yeah. I mean, she
Walk the
like
walk. That's
because I'm beyond the point of like just taking what people say. I need to see.
you said
I need
that
to
like
see
three
action.
times already, and you just
So
repeated it again.
I was actually trying to transition, but that's fine. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was Juju versus Beckers. Um, I like this matchup. Juju is she's one of the guards at. I mean, if you know Juju Watkins, she's. I said this before about Juju. Did I think that she's better than Caitlin Clark? I've said this before, even when Caitlin Clark was going to the WNBA. I always felt like she was better than her, like skill set, just in top to bottom, right? I think the one thing that Caitlin probably does better than Juju is she's probably like she's probably a slightly better shooter, like just a shooter than Juju. But I think Juju has all of it, right? I think she can on every level she can shoot, right? Um, Paige Beckers is another like big star in the college game right now. She plays for UConn. UConn is number 4. USC is number 7. That's the team that Juju plays for. Um, and this was like probably the game. I don't want to say game of the year, but this is one of the best games that we've seen this year as far as basketball goes. That's men's and women's, like every level, high school, college. Like this is probably one of the best games that we've seen in a bit this season. Like they really got to it. I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about this game is the best players actually guarded each other. One of the things that I hate about the NBA is that the best players nowadays hardly ever do that, right? They'll match up with them like last 5 minutes of the game, right? And it's kind of like, all right, y'all both pretty much got off for like the first 3 quarters. Y'all both got 30, and now y'all want to play defense. It's like, it doesn't mean as much, right? It would mean more to me if I was guarding you the whole time and you got 30 shooting 5 of 30, right? But not like you're 15 of 20, you got 30 or 40 already, and then now I'm guarding you 5 minutes at the end. Like, it's like, you kind of already got your numbers. You kind of already got, you know what I'm saying? It's like the best players, I always like the best players to match up from tip off to the end of the game. Like as long as it's a reasonable kind of matchup, right? Like if the best player is a guard and the other best player is a center, that's never going to be a matchup, right? But if they're 2 guards or 2 wings, then we want to see that, right? So, so they were hooping, man. Juju had the better of the matchup a little bit. I mean, Paige still had 22, Juju had 25, so she had a little bit of a better matchup. But like they both was doing their thing. Now I will say, if you look at if you're doing the eye test when you're watching these 2 athletes go, bro, you can't do nothing with Juju. the women can't, like in the women's game, they can't do nothing with Juju. Like even there are times where even Paige was on her, and Paige was, and I respect Paige because Paige was definitely trying to like lock up, but there's not much you can do. There was one time where Paige was coming off a screen and she was pulling up for a 3, and Juju got on her, blocked the shot, and went full court and scored on her. Like Juju is like that. Like I keep telling y'all that Juju is like that. But Paige ain't no slouch. Like she a bucket getter. Like she can shoot the ball. She can move. She moves very well without the ball. High IQ. She's smart, and she, even for her size, even though she's a little smaller, she's like gritty. You know what I'm saying? I love that in players that are smaller. Like she's gritty, but she is like a top 3 player in women's college basketball right now. Like she's gonna be a first round, probably the second or third pick or something like that. Juju will definitely be number 1, but she's coming right after. So these are top tier players. So, but this game was fire, man. I think in general, it's a good projection of like the women's game and like the kind of attention that they need, right, in order to build more fandom, right? Because that's the biggest thing about the WNBA and the NBA. It's just the fandom is just much significantly better for the NBA. Like it's just the NBA game is just like it's superior in every way, right? But the WNBA game will definitely get more fans when you have more competitive games like this, especially like college games, because then like with college games you can see them like, okay, we can see where the talent is going, we can see that they can really hoop, so we know that the WNBA is going to be lit. So like
it's going to be solid.
It's going to be solid. So like, so you need to see more of games like this on the college level to give people more confidence in the WNBA game, to see it further progress and develop more. As a matter of fact, I mean, the WNBA has been losing money. I mean, it's never been profitable actually since its inception. But in 2026, through like the many deals and TV deals that they're getting now, because of all the attention that they're getting now, it could turn into something that can be a profitable business. So looking forward to seeing that. I think it's a good way forward. But so it's good. I think it's something that the women's game can really hang their hat on for sure when you got players like this. So
what up, fam? It's Darwin, the guy that was just talking. First off, thanks for watching and supporting the show. But I gotta give y'all some homework. Your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to interact with the show. That means 1, hitting that like button, because I know you like our stuff. 2, make sure you subscribe so we can swim our way up your timeline whenever we drop new content. The third thing, please share the channel with your friends. Maybe they'll learn a thing about a thing or two. Oh, last thing, we're over here talking about what y'all talking about. So go ahead and carry that conversation on into the comments. We be up in there too.
All right, so we have some pretty interesting stories to bring to you guys' attention. And I'm going to hand it off to bro so that he can give you guys a little bit more of what's going on with this judge and this cash for kids situation that's going on. So it sounds crazy, just the title of it sounds crazy. So
Well,
but bro, you got any more
it's
information on
not
it?
going on, but it happened, and this is, you know, the future ramifications of what happened. This was back in 2004, 2008.
Yeah, it happened for quite a few
Why
years
it's
ago.
coming back
That's
up in the
wild.
news is because Biden recently announced a bunch of pardons, and a bunch of these pardons was people that was in prison. This is federal, of course, during COVID, and because they wanted to reduce people's risk, they allowed them to go on house arrest, right? So this was like
Mhm.
um low risk kind of sentences, right? Of these people that you could, okay, Bob, you did the evaluation and realized that they could stay at home under house arrest, but they would still have their sentences. Now, Biden, part of the sweeping um pardons that Biden did, so that this was December 12th,
Mhm.
he pardoned 1,500 people. Uh and two of these people named Mark Chivrella and Michael Conahan. Is it? It's Chivrella. Yeah, Chivrella. These two are judges from Pennsylvania. We talked last week about certain industries that should not be for profit. We was mainly talking about healthcare. We briefly mentioned the prison industrial pipeline, and we also briefly mentioned the school to prison pipeline. What did I say? No, the prison industrial complex. I'm sorry, the prison industrial complex, and then we talked about the school to prison pipeline. This falls in that segment right there. So what the whole big thing was, Conahan and Chavrilla facilitated contracts between the state and two for-profit detention centers, accepting like $3 million, then imposing harsh sentences on minors for minor offenses, ensuring the families, the facilities remain full.
Mhm.
So it all kind of started off pretty like on the good side of things. So Chivrella, who's the character here that we're going to focus on, he was he was a bad cute. He wasn't necessarily a bad kid, but he had some bad stuff in his past. He stole a car. He a police caught him. Instead of taking him to prison, they took him home and they told his parents. And his dad smacked him, right? Dropped him, and then apparently he turned his life around, did good in school, ended up becoming a judge, right? He stays in this community. He grows up to become a judge, and he goes hard on um, um, punishing crime, right? It's tough on crime, that whole tough on crime era. And he's justifying it by saying, because my dad was tough on me, it worked, and look what I became. So this is my chance to kind of be like this authoritarian father, paternal kind of figure for my community, and I could crack down on my whole community and make things better. So he would give people harsh sentences. Like sometimes these kids would come into his thing because they were talking back at a teacher, and he would give them prison time in these juvenile detention centers. The juvenile detention center that was already there was trash. He goes in there, he visits it, he runs for office, and he finally becomes the judge's community. And he's like, okay, I got to do my ranks. You know what I mean? Part of it is going to kiddie court, right? So like, dang, but you got to go through the trials, right? If you do kiddie court, you get to the federal bench and whatever, you progress in your career.
Mhm.
And the juvenile detention center where he first got into office was like, yo, this place is trash. There's rats, there's roaches all the place. This is insane that we have people staying in these kind of conditions. Even when like the facilitators had to meet with people, they turned one of the old prison cells. It used to be a women's prison back in the day. They turned into in somebody's office. This is how it was like moldy and all that kind of stuff. So he's like, boom. His homeboy came. His other judge friend came. Adam was like, yo, I can help you. I can help you here. I have a hookup with a real estate developer and all stuff. And they ended up they're like, we could build a facility since you want this facility built. You know, this is a good thing you're pointing out. You're doing a good thing for the community. If kids are going to be staying here, juveniles going to be staying here. You know, we need to give them a better facility.
Mm.
The thing is, he goes in on the deal with the guy, so they both are like building this private facility, investing to build this private facility. While this dude still has the paradigm of him judging kids harshly that come from the schools, the other guy, he is the main real estate minded judge guy. And so he's like, we need to make sure that the prison, the detention facility that we're building has full beds. Because if we don't, the bank is gonna be like, well, you know, we can't loan y'all the money that we need for this thing. Right. And other partners was like, I don't know if this thing is gonna be, are we gonna get a return on investment if this facility is gonna stay, if the facility is empty? And while he remains this trial judge, the other one becomes the president of judges of the county.
Mm-hmm.
As that role, the principal judge of the county, whatever, I think it's president or principal judge of the county, he can just like that, by way of a pen, and be like, when we sentence kids, these juveniles, we're gonna send them to this facility right here. He could just do it. Just have a contract and say that's where it's gonna go. And guess who owns that facility? Him.
This guy, yeah.
Him and his partner, the other judge. Mm-hmm. And that other judge is already on some, I'm giving kids the business. So you know, he's like, don't worry about it. Our beds are gonna stay full. Because my buddy, he loves giving kids harsh sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Many, like I said, many were first-time offenders convicted for trivial actions like mocking school staff and petty theft. Sentences were often issued without legal representation or minimal hearings, violating constitutional rights. Indicted in 2011 and then found guilty on fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. The two of them. Clearly, it was conspiracy. Yeah. You know, I'm going to sign off on those things to make sure the kids go to your facility. You just keep sending these kids to prison. The beds stay full. Our loans get repaid. All the contractors to run the facility. You know what I mean? And the city pays us to house these kids and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Boom, we make some bread on the back end, right? Making all kinds of profit on the joint. In 2024, so this is recently, Biden, along with his partners for 1,500 people, these people got swept up in it, and they got clemency as well. There's another thing that Biden did today, actually, where he is supposedly now against the death penalty. 97 crime bill, he was all for it. Matter of fact, you could see him on tape, on recording on the House floor saying, I'm pro death penalty. He's like, matter of fact, I wrote this bill and it added more categories for death penalty. And that boy going off like he is standing on his two. You know what I mean? 10 toes down. Like he's proud of adding more categories for the death penalty. And now, because he's usually late to the fucking game, Biden's late to the game, Biden is like, oh, I'm against the death penalty now. Okay, fine. So he's granting clemency for a lot of for all the federal people that are facing the death penalty. Mm-hmm. All but 3. Dylan Roof, the guy that did the Boston bombing, Nayev or Zai, I don't remember the guy's name. And then there was another one that did a synagogue shooting, right? He's like, those 3 are going to stay on death row. Mm-hmm. So, but that tells me that you can be precise on this when you want to.
Yeah.
You don't just have to, okay, 1,500, just whatever, pick whatever 15, I want to see it. So if you wanted to, you could have been precise on this one. This guy gets a pardon? These 2 people? These kids, the families for these kids affected are saying that they've expressed profound outrage and disappointment following the commutation of Judge Conahan and the other judge. Conahan's actions destroyed families, including mine, and my son's death is a tragic reminder of the consequences of his abuse of power. His son's death, what happened? Self-deletion from the trauma of going through that system. Some people's lives still aren't fixed till today, going through that system, because this guy just wanted some beds filled so he can make a profit. Certain things should not be for freaking profit. Am I bugging?
No, I mean that's we know that it's probably one of the more I would say demonic. It's probably one of the more demonic ways
Whoo,
of
boy.
procuring money,
If
and
evil had a
creating a
face.
creating a revenue stream, from just the insidious nature of the prison industrial complex, as well as like insurance. They're all in that same boat. So this is just
And
another example of
and
it.
imagine now the families thought they had some form of closure, some form of justice. Because even if they wasn't part of this person, like this person did, where they off themselves, and but their kid still has trauma. Their family still has trauma.
Yeah,
Who knows what legal fees they had to pay? What kind of debt they had to go? They're probably still in bankruptcy now
and their kids
of
can't
trying to
come back.
fight these cases. They can't come back from that.
Hmm.
So, but it's like, okay, well, at least the guy's in jail. At least the guy's, even if it's home arrest, at least he's like still being punished.
Hmm.
And Biden is the one that commutes the sentences. So you know who did that to you? Biden did that. Biden opened up that old wound. He could have been precise and be like, those two, no, just those two, just can't do it,
Do you think he was made? Do you think he was made aware of that? Like
bro. There was
100%
what
aware
about
of
the
that?
three? What about the three that he did for the death
I
sentence?
mean, yeah. I mean,
If
that's
he's aware
true.
about that, why he not aware
I'm
about this?
just
I can't.
because it's I mean it's a lot of about what 1,500 were commuted.
Okay,
Um, I mean, could it be possible that he could have missed a few in there? I don't know. I'm just speculating because of how old he is, and I feel like okay, I'm not gonna say I feel like, but I suspect that because of we see how he's degrading as a person in his old age, I suspect there is a little bit of taking advantage of Biden as the president.
you
So
know what?
I'm not giving him an out. I'm not giving him an out. I'm just saying, do you
You
not at least consider that?
what?
Right?
No, okay. That's not an opposition to what I'm saying. That's not an opposition to it. But because I'm with you. Biden is not with us anymore. It's been
Okay.
a long while.
Hmm.
Biden is in and out of of um of awareness.
Hmm.
Um, I've read stories where Jill Biden is meeting with staff on his behalf on occasion.
I've heard that. I've heard that before myself.
We've already had a president. Was it Teddy? I think Teddy Roosevelt,
Hmm.
who we later find out that um that fool was not with it, and she protect Martha. I think her name was. She protected him in terms of like not letting anybody see him
Hmm.
vulnerable, not
Hmm.
letting nobody meet with him, and she met with him. She was pretty much the president. She was shadow president for
Hmm.
like some period of time before the end of his presidency. I think Joe Biden may be doing the same thing. It's the sort of thing that we're not going to hear about. Like we're going to hear rumors, but confirmation
Yeah,
till 20 years later,
probably never gonna get confirmation. Yeah, until
20 years
later.
later, 30 years
Yeah.
later, something like that.
Yeah.
The my jumping off point for this is is twofold. One, since the election, man, you know what? Bump it. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna rewind to 2024. Matter of fact, I would rewind to 2022 when no, actually, yeah, 2024 Biden State of the Union. When I was like, yo, drop. You should you drop out. State of the Union, drop Mike, and resign and let Kamala be president for the last few months, and then roll right into the campaign, and then that would have got that was the theory. We talked about that plenty of episodes ago. Go back and watch the tape. Um, for 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 Biden to be again late to the game in this regard, he probably, like you said, he might not even known that this joint happened because this dude is just like not checked in, not locked in.
It's not all the way there.
Bro, his legacy is cooked. his legacy is cooked. All that stuff he was doing, all that stuff he thought he was doing was because he's trying to preserve some legacy. Now, mind you, I don't give a damn about somebody's quote unquote legacy or even like the concept of that's something we got to talk about one day. Like the concept of legacy. Mike Tyson was in that fight with Jake Paul. He's like, I don't give a fuck about no damn legacy. He's like, when I'm dead, I'm dead. What do I know? He's like, I'm gone. I'm not here. Right? That's a whole nother conversation. We got to talk about that at some point. But with the way the Hunter Biden thing went down, the way the coming out of going out of Afghanistan went down, the way the freaking campaign went down, right, and him not dropping out, and all, like these commutations, all of this stuff is like you did some good here with the inflation, keeping the country on track, getting us kind of back in line in terms of our righting the ship of the country, putting infrastructure bill and student loan forgiveness. You did some good things, but you really thought you was Harry Truman. You really thought you was on some FDR joint. Are you gonna be like, yo, they're gonna put me, I could be on Mount Rushmore if they expand that joint. You really thought you was JFK, some transcendent, like you thought. Like you would read some of these articles and like Biden is probably the greatest president of our generation or something. Like, even if we grant you that grace, you've done a lot to freaking undermine whatever you were trying to do, and your joint is trash. Biden is gonna be remembered as a trash president, and
I think you're overreacting. I think the stain that you're saying that he might be leaving on his reputation, I think it's
out of all those things I just listed. From the not dropping out, from the commutations, from the Hunter Biden thing.
Yeah, I mean,
he caused Trump to get back in office now.
Democrats are going to complain, but I think Democrats is definitely going to complain because that's all they've been doing anyways, is pointing their fingers at everybody except themselves.
I don't be pointing at Biden the whole time. That's what I've been pointing at. I feel since the campaign, I've been pointing at that fool.
They're going to keep complaining regardless, but I think he's going to be known as a lifer, just like Nancy Pelosi and all these other people. They're going to be known as lifers. But I think it's going to be more of like, it's a stain, but I think it's going to be more of like a stain on like a black jacket, where there's a stain there, but you can kind of rub it where it's not that. Bro,
he's got the 97 crime bill around his neck still.
He still got like the president. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but we still bring that stuff up.
And when people talk about but when people talk about Biden in general, they talk about him outside of these last few months, right? People have talked about Biden regardless of all that, even with the 96 crime bill. People have talked about him glowingly, like. So it's not like, I mean, people ain't gonna let him off the hook for that. We know that, but I don't know. I feel like
he only became president
right,
once. A lot of that was the reputation, what he did in the Senate, what he did as vice president.
Yeah,
vice president is a cuddly position, but once you become president, it's your presidential record. Really, this is what nobody's gonna remember. Like really, what he did. They're gonna remember the 97 crime because that was huge. But a lot of his other minor details, they're not gonna remember that. But they're gonna remember his presidency for sure. Mm-hmm. He's been in politics for a long time. They're gonna remember his presidency for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think at least, okay, maybe I'll put too much sauce on it, but at least it's gonna be like, yo, we're gonna look back at him and be like, okay, he was meh. He's like, he's gonna be lost. He's gonna be like Taft. Like we had a president named Taft or some random president named Johnson.
Yeah,
William Taft. Know what I mean and stuff. And so like we're just he's not gonna be on no coin or no dollar 100 years from now.
So you're saying he's gonna be remembered as just a guy? Is that what you're saying?
Just a guy that happened to, especially because he only had one term. Especially since he only had one term.
Yeah. So I will agree with you on that point. The fact that he only had one term is like, it's kind of hard to remember a guy who only had one term. That's true.
And so that was the one point. The second point, and I'll close here, is that the majority of the children affected by the Kids for Cash scandal were white and from low-income families. This is in Luzerne County in Pennsylvania, which is predominantly a white population, right?
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
This case was less about race and more about class.
Who made it about race? That didn't even dawn on me at all. I didn't even think about it in that way.
Well, I would venture to say that. Well, if you don't know, I mean, the school to prison pipeline affects kids of color mostly throughout the country.
Well, the school to prison. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
And so, if you don't know exactly, this is why at the end is when I'm like,
like that.
Pennsylvania. Okay. You know what I mean? I'm saying northern Pennsylvania. Um, but since one of our first recordings, I want to just give me a chance to foot stomp that and saying, this is to show you, and when this law enforcement joint happened, this is to show you again. It's the rich people, it's the millionaires and
Yeah,
billionaires.
it's a class
That's the
thing.
true enemy.
Yeah, it's
That's the
a
truth.
class
If
thing. It's
these
not a
poor
race thing.
white people really knew how much we were an ally, being poor black people, poor white people, even well-to-do black people are, because poor white people get treated like black people,
Yeah, they do.
right? But they still have it in the back of their head that they better than us. Ever since they were overseers.
Because they have more because they have more representation quantifiably.
They don't have
why.
representation. They have skin.
As far as
They
visually,
have
is what I'm saying.
they visually have
Yeah, they have
some
skin representation.
Skin representation.
Yeah, that's what.
But they themselves were slaves as well.
That's true.
Actually, they call them indentured servants, but they still fucking treat them like shit, just like they did niggas. They might not have broken up their families. I don't know the extent of how deep. I don't know if any white people got whips. I don't know that, but they were sleeping and eating the crap in the shitty environment that we were. But they were overseas. They got to sit on a horse. They got to actually beat niggas. So they felt like they had some kind of elevation over us. When meanwhile, it was the plantation owner that was subjugating all of us in that particular class. This is yet another example. When I'm talking about when we talk about examples of cops shooting unarmed black men, or we're talking about pulling over again, driving while black and all that kind of stuff. And you see these numbers of what the statistics are of who gets hemmed up. Yeah, the white people make up the greater portion of the population, but a lot of them become victims to over policing as well when you're poor.
Yeah.
When you're poor. Yeah. A lot of them get a lot of prison time too because they're poor. And as a result of decisions that they make because they're poor. If they only knew the solidarity that we could have to look up and be like, this guy is a freaking billionaire, not even from America, is right now playing shadow president. Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Because he's rich and he's got the money. Yeah. Trump did all the things that we accuse him of doing, that they accuse him of doing allegedly, and some stuff we saw on tape, and he gets no prison time. 2-tier justice system. Why? Because they got money. It's the class.
Do you think it's the same with? Do you think it's the same with Vivek Ramaswamy? Like he's on that type of time with.
He's another multimillionaire, or like 100-millionaire kind of. Actually, my bad. He's a billionaire.
He's very wealthy. Yeah,
he's actually a billionaire. My bad. He's a billionaire.
And he's another energy guy too.
And we got
tech guy.
Yeah, we got. So we got him. I'm gonna get off that soapbox for a second. But I'm just saying, just one chance to point out, poor white folk, wake up. You could be having a way easier existence if you stop looking at black people as if they're lesser and realize that they are in the same boat with you. And the true enemy is these billionaires.
Following Trump have been, he has a transition team and all of that. And he has been appointing certain individuals, certain folks who are probably controversial to you.
But not his cabinet and whatnot.
His cabinet and all that stuff. Guys like Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Those aren't cabinet, but those are like advisors.
Yeah. They're more like advisors. Yeah, but these are people who are in a circle, right? And Trump has this DOGE push that he's implementing on Capitol Hill, and apparently he's actually gaining some, which never thought I'd see a headline like this or hear anything like this, but he's getting some support from some Democrats, right? So just reading from the article here, Elon Musk promised to severely slash government spending. Elon Musk has made that claim before. It has found some support from Democrats. So let's just continue on. Democratic Republican Jared Moskowitz joined the Republican-led congressional caucus supporting President-elect Donald Trump. Newly formed DOGE stands for Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE.
Let me pause right here real quick and say this. We keep talking about it as a department. It's not a department.
It sounds fancy.
You would need to have. I mean, it's called DOGE because freaking Elon already had the Bitcoin joint or
Yeah,
the
we know that that's where they
cryptocurrency
got it. Yeah.
called Doge, and
Mhm.
it just so happens that he's a nice little acronym for Department of Government Efficiency. Of
Yeah.
course, you're gonna make it so that
You,
it's
you got
also
you got to
it's
make it
all,
sound catchy and yeah.
but it's self promotion because he already has the coin, and like it endears people to
That's
that
true.
coin that he has, right?
That's true.
Um, so it's not a department because the department would have to be
Funded and all that.
funded and allocated through Congress. You have first of all you have to stand it up through
Mhm.
Congress, right?
Yeah.
And then you get some funds to run it.
Mhm.
But what you can do is you can have a task force.
Mhm.
So that's really what it is.
It's more.
It's a
Yeah.
task
Yeah.
force
That's actually accurate. It's more
that's called
that's called
Department
Doge. Yeah.
of Government Efficiency because they just like don't because words don't matter anymore. But go
Mhm.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So you have Democratic Republicans like Ro Khanna has said that he will work with Musk on certain issues. Vermont's independent, you know, Playboy, not Playboy, but
That boy Bernie.
that boy Bernie. So
Yeah.
everybody likes Bernie. Feel the burn.
Oh, why that dude couldn't be 20 years younger, man?
His ideas obviously are okay. Let's let's move forward because that's a whole different rabbit hole. I just his ideas are I would say his ideas are radical in a lot of people's eyes, but I think there's a method to I think his approach. I think
Yeah, but at the same time,
yeah,
so it's not like you
the
have to
motivations.
adopt all of his stuff. If
Yeah.
if he becomes president, or if he
Mhm.
were to become president or run for a campaign, you kind of like
I think he has some good ideas. I think he has some good
got
ideas.
some good ideas. You take some, you
Yeah.
leave some. You know what I mean, and you push him on the issues that you want him to like change up on, kind of thing.
Mhm.
It would be a whole different thing. He tried, the country didn't want him.
Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to Bernie Sanders. He
Yeah,
seemed like a good dude.
the original populist,
Yeah,
the
yeah, I wasn't
original
tripping.
populist,
Especially with his stance on student loans and all that. Yeah,
OP,
I was all for
the
that.
OP. Yes, sir.
So moving forward, Moskowitz wants to work on making the Secret Service and FEMA independent federal agencies that report directly to the White House. And I
Now,
go ahead.
I'm pause again.
Hmm.
It's interesting. Secret Service part of directly under the executive branch. I think that's actually a good idea. The Secret Service, it's just like what I mean. It's your own
Are you saying
protective
that?
service,
Are you saying that
anyways.
for like oversight purposes because of like the
Not
blunders that they've
for
had recently,
oversight,
or
but for um. Okay, when we had the two attempts on Trump's life, there's
Mhm.
way too the chain of command that had to go through in order for them to do their job to protect the what they call them, not the primary, what they call the person, so they're the body person, the asset, right,
okay?
to
I was
protect
trying
the
to figure out what
asset.
you were talking about. Okay.
um why not have him, why not have them be directly up under the asset, especially for presidents? You may not want to do that for Congress, you know what I mean, because they get some Secret Service too, and can't in
Mhm.
the campaigns they
Mhm.
get some too, so they can't really fund or maintain their own service, so
Mhm.
you would issue out to them. But for the presidency,
Mhm.
maybe the Secret Service should be run out of the White House, and that would be, you'd have a head of that agency just be right up under the executive branch, especially because you're going to watch your own people, right?
But they report to him directly, don't they?
They don't report to him directly because
Oh,
this is also
I was
why
under the impression that they were. Okay.
this is also, I mean, you're gonna do whatever he says. He's the
Yeah.
president.
Yeah.
The Secret Service, you're here to protect him,
I.
but the Secret Service is not
Mm,
going to do the secret. They don't report to him directly, but they're not gonna do the things that the president doesn't want. But they're also gonna like supersede the president in order to complete their mission. That means they're gonna
okay.
grab his ass and toss him in the back of that van
Mm-hmm.
if they got to. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You're the president, but you no longer have bodily autonomy
Mm-hmm.
because our job is to protect you. So when he got out, oh, let me get my shoe, let me get my shoe, or let me raise my hand up and say fight, fight, fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Shout out to the the men's fragrance that's coming out next season.
I can't believe you put that plug in there. That's so crazy. That's so
Are we looking for sponsors or what? Right.
I don't know.
So yeah, that'd be kind of
Yeah, I
tight.
don't know.
It'd
Yeah.
be kind of tight for your boys. You know what I mean? It'd be like we just pick a lane and stick in it, right?
Mhm.
But they wouldn't allow him to do shit like that. They shouldn't, and this is why they got a lot of backlash
Mhm.
because they're like, yo, you're the Secret Service. You, when it comes to protecting the asset for that role,
Mhm.
let me put on my shoe. No, it ain't on him no more. let me raise my fist up and expose myself. It ain't on him no more.
Mm-hmm.
But if they report directly to you, you can probably set that kind of protocol yourself, right? But that's a little side tangent. FEMA? Why? What?
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I thought
FEMA?
that was weird. Like, why did FEMA
Why
enter
would
this
FEMA?
conversation?
And
Yeah,
this is Moscow is saying this.
yeah.
Like,
I'm
bro, what are you talking about? Why would you want the president to specifically have a say in how FEMA executes their mission? Especially since we knew Trump had already tried last time when certain places had hurricane issues and Trump was holding out on sending FEMA aid.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to. Why would the president need to be the one to direct FEMA? FEMA's supposed to be like, yo, something's wrong in the country. Let me go fix it. What the fuck is that?
FEMA is an independent agency as well, so they shouldn't.
Well, I mean, Secret Service is independent agency also.
Oh, okay.
But why would you want FEMA to be under the executive? Like, why FEMA? Out of all the ones,
I don't.
Even if you said the military, I could understand you making a case for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't agree with it because I wouldn't want one man to have all that power.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate us having, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, you know what I mean, the SecDef and all these people, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But FEMA,
I will say
make the case.
Yeah, that that one I don't really understand what the I don't really understand what the motive there is. I think the only thing that comes to mind is the budget that's afforded to FEMA. I feel like they're always trying to find a way to like shuffle money out of departments they feel like are getting more funding than they should.
Okay, I mean, they didn't say
so
anything about
I'm
dismantling it. Well, maybe
Yeah.
that could be a way to restructure it. And,
That's what I'm saying. Like to
but like,
allocate
bro,
more
FEMA
funds
is. I
away
would think
from-
FEMA is the last one y'all want to fuck with, bro. We
Yeah,
just had
exactly. And
the
that's
hurricane in
what
North
I'm getting at.
Carolina,
Yeah,
which went red again.
yeah.
Red state.
Mm-hmm.
Why would Moskowitz want to mess with that? Why would any Republican? And it says it's bipartisan.
Yeah.
Why would anybody want to mess with FEMA?
That's the only thing I can really think of right now. I don't see why you would want to do that unless you're trying to reallocate.
That's
some
so
of the funds.
weird.
So I thought that was strange. I mean, I know that Biden. I said Biden. I know that Bernie and Bernie Sanders and Connor, they want to slash the Pentagon's budget. But defense spending is never gonna. That's not. I don't ever see that being a case to take away money from defense. In fact, I think I'm not sure how many years in a row it's been, but there's been an increase in the defense budget like every year, like year over year.
Okay, so here we go. So the Pentagon recently failed their 7th audit in a row. The Defense Department said it's still unable to track its nearly $1 trillion budget, but remains on track to pass an audit that's due in 2028. So they've been auditing them up until the due date of 2028.
Mm-hmm.
7th
But they
audit
7 times
in a row.
If
They
you
don't
fail-
know.
if you
Bruh.
if you get audited more than once on your taxes, on your returns, you gonna have people knocking on your door.
You failed it
You failed it
once.
You failed it 7 times.
The country's largest government agency,
Wow.
which has a 2024 budget of 824 billion, that's with the B,
Mhm.
which by the way is a 26 billion increase from last year.
That's about
It has been given until 2028 to account for all this spending.
mm-hmm.
It's been given until 2028. And so in the meanwhile, we're doing this, we're checking in real quick. Are you on page? And the Defense Department is telling us that, oh, no, yeah. We failed 7 times in a row, but we're going to be good. What year are we in? We're in 2025 right now.
Wow, 7 times in a row is crazy.
But you're going to be good by 2028. So you're not going to fail an 8th time in a row. So let's say you get the 8th time, the audit is right. And then the 9th time, the audit is right. And in 2028, the audit is right. The last 3 years of the audit of the time period, you got correct.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would think you get a hand clap for that. But you don't get a hand clap for that because that's not the measurement.
Mm-hmm.
The measurement is, what did you do with the freaking money?
Yeah.
The audit was to find out what you did with the money. We found out what you did with the money. And then we're going to find out that we increased the budget every year to find out that you funded the freaking F-16
Mm-hmm.
failed experiment after failed experiment. We're going to see a bunch of misuse of funds once that audit comes. So once you get that audit right and you account for that funds, you're going to really see like, oh, we probably didn't want to.
We're gonna have some.
We probably didn't want to look under them rocks.
we gonna have some hearings coming up. We're gonna have some hearings. Yeah.
Don't let them get the audit right.
Yeah. And that's yeah, and you're right. That's probably why it's probably some intentionality there in filling those audits. To fill it 7 times in a row is crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Efforts to dismantle the federal bureaucracy and cut waste spending at the direction of Trump could lead to rare moments of unlikely alliance on Capitol Hill in the new year once he comes in office. So there are concerns among some members that the push to overhaul government could devolve into reflexive partisanship.
Mm-hmm.
So DOGE is around to look into efficiencies. And you know what? I'll give him some credit. I've worked for the government long enough. I've been in the military long enough. Right? So like the shit that I go through in terms of the bureaucracy, I could see it as a newly minted project manager. I would say I could see some spaces.
Yeah,
there could be some efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So as an existence of a concept for what DOGE is supposed to do,
mm-hmm.
I could see the mission and I could see it as a task force, but that could easily be solved with Congress, bro. So we get to Congress, and here's what you're talking about. These people are joining the DOGE caucus. There's a DOGE caucus now in Congress. Democrats are signaling that they want to be part of the conversation on overhauling, while also serving as a check on Republicans if they try to use their power in Congress and the White House to make cuts to programs like Medicare and Social Security. So I went and I looked up the DOGE caucus.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I looked at the DOGE caucus. The bipartisan DOGE caucus will lead the partnership between Congress and President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Again, it's not a department, it's a task force. The nation expects sweeping common sense reform, and the DOGE caucus will pave the way for the House of Representatives to streamline government operations and to save taxpayer money. There's an email, by the way. I'm going to put it at the end on what you can do to contribute to the efforts of the DOGE caucus. Did you know there was a DOGE caucus, Jeff? A whole caucus?
I didn't know there was a caucus, actually.
Bro, let me do this. I'm gonna send you a picture. Yeah, it was just a task force. It's task force as far as I know. I'm gonna send you a picture of these fools got a logo and everything. Dog, look at this. Freaking the marketing, the branding.
Mm-hmm. I'm done. This is
our government doing this right. That's gonna be doing this. And you got, bro, Jeff, you know how I love to go in on Trump. I love to go in on Elon. I don't think he's smart at all, actually. I think he's just an opportunist, right?
They're not serious people.
But, bruh, both parties have signed up for this shit.
Yeah.
This country is a fucking joke.
These people are not serious, bro.
These are not serious people.
These are not serious people, bro.
Both parties, dog. Look at this.
This is why I keep saying that shit. This is why I keep saying, y'all, you are on your own. Nobody's coming to save you.
You better get yours,
You are, yo.
bro. You better get yours.
That's, bro. What's crazy about it is that I had a feeling that this dog was gonna rear its ugly head at some point in this whole segment.
They
I
got
had a
that
feeling.
bit.
I just didn't know when. But now
In
I see.
Congress, they legit have a Do I have this dude? Bro, I went to this. I don't know. I think I
Bro,
went to
they
this
probably-
dude's website.
bro,
They already appointed a a leader for the caucus. Let me look at this. So, DOGE caucus leader.
They probably wear lapel pins.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you dog. I just imagined it. We're gonna see a news report
Somebody
wearing a. See the thing. Oh, yeah, hold on, but wait. You did something. You messing up the audience. You messing up the audience. They don't live in the DMV.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
They don't live in the DMV.
Yeah.
They don't realize
It'll hit
that,
different
like,
in DV.
it's different out here.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
if you go to any public
That's
event,
true.
you gotta wear a suit. You gotta wear something. If you go to a
Yeah.
gala somewhere,
Mhm.
I went to a champagne tasting at the French embassy the other day.
Mhm.
Like, people be showing out at these places, and
Oh,
like
absolutely.
these lapel pins
Mm-hmm.
kind of is like a, check. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm checking these niggas.
Yeah.
I'm checking these fools.
Yeah.
Depending on the pin, like, oh snap,
Mm-hmm.
I know that pin. That's an
Yeah.
exclusive pin.
That's exclusive.
And that
exclusive,
pin
yep.
means something
Mm-hmm.
about how the DOGE. And I'm
Bro,
gonna
can you
walk into
imagine?
some room and see,
Bruh. How are you gonna take a person like that seriously? You know, like what kind of conversations are we gonna have? Like, bro,
there's a whole dog. Oh,
it's a whole dog on there, bro. It's a whole dog on there,
but
bro.
not just the dog, the freaking specific Doge coin dog
Literally, yeah.
on that
Yeah.
pin. Jeff, they're gonna have it. They're gonna have that pin. They're gonna have that pin in the whole caucus.
I can see it.
Oh my gosh.
I can see them walking around with that pin on their lapel with like it's not an issue at all.
That lapel joint is for real, yo.
Yeah.
It's like
a
when
real
people
thing.
get like a kind of like a specific tattoo for a gang.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And you see the tattoo, you think, oh, it's just like a different tattoo.
Yeah.
But it means something. It
Yeah.
It makes them belong to something. Like
does.
the gang of cops in LA, they have specific tattoos to identify that they're part of that cop gang.
Mhm.
These lapel pins mean something.
They do.
This dude's name is Aaron Bean. Probably representing Northeast Florida. Florida man.
You said Northeast Florida?
Northeast Florida. So that's like Jacksonville area.
Yeah.
That's gonna be your St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think Tennessee. I don't think Tallahassee would be. Maybe that's Northeast. I don't know. But mostly Jacksonville.
Yeah, mostly
Where he's
Jacksonville. Yeah. Yeah.
where he's
Tallahassee's
representing.
yeah.
There's a hotline they set up. DOGE at mail.house.gov. I specifically want to highlight that website because not that website, but that email. Because, yo, it's a hotline. They take it. Yo, if there's something in your government right now that you like, yo, I think I can fix this. I think I can cut here and there and do that. I specifically would say, personally, let's look into that DOD budget. They done failed their audit 7 times in a row.
Yeah, that's what Bernie Sanders was saying. He said that's the first thing that he wants to look into.
Let's go.
And I feel him.
Let's go into these freaking government these military, the military industrial complex contracting. What was that word we used earlier? For the judges, racketeering. The racketeering that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
These people are creating all kinds of planes that don't work, helicopters that don't work. Y'all need to look up to see how many times the Osprey has killed people. How many times the Osprey has not worked out.
Mm.
How many of those we blown up? Go ahead. They're looking for the public comment section. Yo, let them know.
Mm.
Let them know what actually matters to you, what you want to be cut, what you don't want to be cut. Education was one of the ones that they had on the chopping block.
Yeah, Department of Education. Yep,
Send
that's
the
true.
email to them and be like, no, the Department of Education needs more funding, if anything. I don't know exactly how serious they're going to take all of the recommendations that come in from in those emails. I guarantee I pretty much know if you're like aligned with things that they already want to cut, that they might start promoting that.
Mm.
And look, we got like 10,000 emails from these people that say this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's a chance that this has any efficacy, shit, I would even say the cannabis thing we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
and getting them to commute
those
commute those sentences.
Yeah.
If Biden doesn't do it, fuck it. Send an email to that joint. Tell Elon and Trump that we could save the government X amount of money, be more efficient by getting the
Sure.
cannabis people
Get them
out of there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So if it's a legit thing, I don't know, but fuck it. What does it hurt? It's a quick email.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Doge at mail.house.gov.
So we definitely like this segment because this is what makes Challenge Day what it is, right? This is the heart of the show here as far as the challenges go. So I'm gonna jump right into mines in particular. So I recently came from out of town. I went out of town. Got back over the weekend, and I was with my family and my folks, celebrating my cuz. Shout out to Sabrina. She's probably the closest person to me as far as like my extended family goes. As far as my like cousins, she would probably be the closest one to me.
How often y'all chop it up?
We chop it up every once in a while. Not common, but it's like maybe once every other week or something like that. We'll chop it up, talk for a little bit. Nothing crazy, just enough to kind of keep up with life and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we do. So we definitely talk. Um, and
I wish
yeah,
I could have gone. I wish I could have
yeah,
been there.
yeah. It was actually a fun time. We what you guys don't know, like we have a pretty extra family. Our family is really extra.
Eclectic, if you will.
Yeah. But they like to have a good time for sure. That's a big thing. They like to have a good time. And folks just we just like kicking it and just hanging out when we all, especially when we all finally get together. Yeah, it can be it can be an interesting time.
we've been doing better the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Linking up as a family, like like everybody, not just me and you or our specific people, but like
like whole sides of trees and branches of the
different
family.
branches and stuff.
Yeah.
Past
Absolutely.
5, 6 years.
Absolutely. So it's been dope. It's been a dope experience. So I really enjoyed myself.
Ribbon cutting you.
Yeah, she did ribbon cutting. So I'm like super proud of her. Dr. Sabrina Ellis, that's her name.
You better say the doctor.
Yeah,
You better
I
say
wanted
the
to make
doctor.
sure I say the whole name, Dr. Sabrina Ellis. She's a dental surgeon in Cincinnati, Ohio. So if y'all
Check her out. You need some services.
Yeah, check her out for sure.
Check your girl. Get that grill right, because you looking kind of funny. Get that grill check. Get that grill check.
So she opened her first dental practice. So she definitely, of course, she got clients and everything already. So that's gonna be the grand opening was this past Saturday of the ribbon cutting. But the first day for like taking actual patients will be January.
Let me ask you: was there any chance that the Chamber of Commerce was there?
Could have been. I'm not sure because there were a bunch of people that were there, but I don't know.
Oh, you didn't know exactly who?
Yeah, I didn't know exactly. I just know
when I was living in Tampa, working for the Chamber of Commerce over there. That's what we new businesses and stuff. Yo, that's what we want in our community, right?
You know what's crazy about that, bro? I actually mentioned, that's crazy that you said that. I actually mentioned that same exact thing. I was like, I told her, I was like, you should go to certain events that like people like who are in the city who have like power or leeway will be there. Like, and I mentioned Chamber of Commerce,
especially like small business
mayor,
events.
small, yeah.
Because the mayor is always going to
especially the
show
mayor.
up to small business events.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, and this actually goes into, and the reason why I even mentioned that to her is because of the church that we went to. Now, the church that we went to is one of those churches where it's like, you're bound to run into like a congressman or something like that.
Oh, it's like a mega
that kind of
church or something?
Yeah. It's like
It was one of the big ones.
It was one of them joints. Yeah. I'm gonna see
They
you
had the
link.
lighting.
Yeah, they had. Yeah,
And
that
the
joint
screen?
was. Yeah, they had everything. All of that.
They had all the things. Okay.
Yeah, they had. I mean, they had in the parking lot. You know the kind of whips they had in the parking lot.
Okay.
you just kind of. You just kind of know.
Special lot that you're not supposed to park in.
Yeah.
Unless if you ain't got it, don't park in that lot.
For sure. You just know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you niggas they got valet at church now.
You know what? They might. There's some churches.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's some churches that
they got valet
at
church.
I think there's some churches that do that.
Oh,
Low-key,
really?
I've personally,
like
bro. First of all, that's
Potter's
ultra
house?
cringe, right? I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know. I don't know. But you know what?
That is pretty cringe, dog.
Bro. I will say it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me, bro. Like, I've never been to a church like that, but like, I would imagine there might be, bro. There might be churches in LA like that.
I'm trying to be graceful. Let me be graceful. I'm talking about church, so let me be graceful. Legit though. Okay, I'm gonna be graceful. Let's say this. Let's say this.
Yeah.
Y'all should probably do valet service. This is bad. It could get bad. It could get bad.
It's already bad. Well,
I can see it get bad. But here's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
We had car washes at the church for fundraising.
I remember.
Stuff.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
The different churches, either Beaka or we go to Evangel. You know what I mean? You'd have a car wash, and it would be to like build up the expansion of the church.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have bake sales. You have all these kinds of like little privilege kind of like activities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people they would do babysitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just for like the kids ministry, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a bunch of different stuff that they would do. They would put on so that you can have different ways to raise. Dog, I could totally see being a valet ministry. Like really, like, you come into the church and like it's valet service. It makes you feel kind of like this special exclusive kind of thing. But really what you're doing is you have the teenagers, you know what I mean, that the trusted ones that's in the ministry. This is in the church. At the front of the church, they park your car for you. Dog, I've been to some churches, though. That parking lot is crazy. Just trying to navigate through.
Sure.
You gotta wait freaking 20 minutes just to get out the parking lot at some of these places. You're parking in the dirt, you know what I mean? Now you gotta get your shoes all dirty. Your church shoes. You know what I mean? So I could totally see you could have a valet, the youth ministry, because the youth ministry goes from like usually like 15 to 22, 23.
The youth ministry. If it's the youth ministry, it's like because you're talking about
kids
like young
ministry.
adults. Like if
The young adults ministry, yeah.
because the young adults ministry will be like high school to like not even high school. Actually, it might be because some churches have kind of shifted.
I thought the high school ministry. I thought the youth.
The youth is usually like 13 to like 18 or something like that. That's usually what the youth.
That's the youth ministry.
Yeah, but like the young adults will be like college age to like young adults, right? Like 18 to like 30.
I could have sworn we had like 15-year-olds in our when I was back in church in the young adult service.
Really? That's strange. That's kind of
Maybe
strange.
16.
Yeah.
It might be strange. Now that I think about it, it's strange. It's like
that's kind of strange.
Because you're cohorting with like some of these people dated each other. So
that's what I'm saying. That's weird.
Yeah, some people dated. Yeah, it'd be kind of weird.
So that would be weird. So that's why I'm like,
okay.
So usually like
but do you see what I'm saying though? Like, yo, the money's going to the service. It's going to the program. It's going to that trip that the young adult ministry is going to take in the summer. That ministry trip, whatever it is. You know, it could be so like all they have to do is just be at the front of the door of the church. You pull up there. A lot of these places have like rotundas. You know, and the youth, you know him. That's Mackenzie's kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They ain't gonna do nothing crazy. They're gonna just drive your car to the parking lot and park it there. And they ain't gonna freaking like take your joint for a joyride or whatever, like that freaking judge did. You know what I mean? In Pennsylvania.
I think there would be a lot
That'd
of
be kind of like tipping and tithing kind of thing, like bake sale kind of thing. No,
yeah. I mean I can see I can see
five
that.
dollars, $5.
Yeah, I mean, I can
Valet.
see how that could translate into like, yeah, obviously like the different needs of the church, right? Like just another mechanism to provide like some of the things that the church is trying to do in the community and all that. So I can see that being a thing. I just feel like that would be a little bit of a there's still some liability there, and I think it also could be a thing of like valet kind of gives off a little bit of like a pompous kind of
It does the thing.
kind of
It does the
flair
thing.
to it. So it's like, eh.
We'll workshop it. We'll workshop it. But
yeah,
I got you off a tangent. You went to this
yeah.
church in
So
Ohio.
yeah. So
Okay, what
it's
happened?
so beautiful church. Like it's like when you see it's a beautiful church, right?
Mhm.
And the people there are actually like we met quite a few people there, and the folks seem very nice folks. Like really down to earth. And it's Midwest. I kind of expect that low key. It's Midwest, being in Ohio. Um, very nice church. Very clean, very massive. I was saying that to say so earlier about like the Chamber of Commerce thing, right? The fact that we went to church like that was like this definitely gives me the kind of vibe that you can run into somebody
You can
pretty
network in that
important
way.
in here and network with
Mhm.
them. And I told her about that. She was like she never met anybody like that at a church at that church
But did
there,
she ever
but
had the mindset that this could be that kind of space?
and that's what I was telling. I was like, you should at least keep that in mind though,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Like to like really like try to like plug yourself in, like in this church a little bit more, maybe in some groups or whatever, and you'll probably might end up meeting some people that you never know could really help you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That can really help you as far as your business and everything goes. So it made me think about that when I was there. But the crux of what I want to get to as far as my challenge, right? Is the message, right, at that church, right? The pastor was talking about basically how people deal with fear, right? He described different types of phobias and things like that. Um, and the conclusion of the message is honestly about the good news, right? The gospel is also called the good news, right? Because the reason why it's called the good news is because it's a message that will uplift people and give people hope. Um, the thing here is what he was harping on is how a lot of times how a lot of times fear can paralyze people, right? Like it can really with trauma and all those different things, it could really affect like your decision making. It could really affect even your trajectory in life, right? Because of certain fears you may have or whatever. um but the big message was, and it tied into like the whole Christmas message and all that stuff, is that hey, as believers, and for us as believers, um, he was telling us, hey, fear not, because we have the good news. We have a reassurance. We have someone we can look to as far as Jesus being our Lord and Savior, right? We have a faith that we can lean on, that we can use as something that fundamentally can help us to structure our lives in the best way possible, right? Especially when you get to a level when you become parents, those who want to become parents, to be examples to not only their kids but even examples to like people in their family
What
and all that
was
stuff.
he saying?
So
Was it a he? It was a pastor. Was a he?
yeah.
What was he saying about like what's the limitation? Like what does fear do? Like what's the problem with fear?
Well, yeah. So like I was saying before, he said the problem with fear is that it's debilitating.
Okay.
There's no
So it
there
stops you
is
from moving forward,
it
stop
stops yeah
progressing.
it stops from
Yeah.
exactly. And it could actually even and it could stop you from even reacting or responding, right? Because sometimes some people, the way they respond to fear is that they freeze up, and that's just
So
you know what I'm saying.
that's true.
Yeah,
There's this fight, flight, or freeze.
or freeze.
People
Yeah,
forget about that freeze part.
yeah.
There's been incidents where people have been in plane crashes, and some people panicking,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And then you have people they're like taking action. They're like, yo, this plane's on fire. We crash landed.
Yeah.
I'm still alive. Let me get these people out of here. And then there's actually people still sitting in their seat,
Hmm.
clutching their armrests, just staring.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, we gotta go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the human body reaction.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
that's valid. That's
Absolutely.
valid.
And actually and that's a good addition to what I'm saying here. It's he mentioned those few things in like different examples. He even named like some strange um phobias that people have. Like there's like I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember how you pronounced it, but there's a fear of the color purple. I was like,
Purple phobia.
I was like too easy. I was like too easy. There's way too many jokes I could make with that. It's like too easy. But there's things like like how do the first thing that comes to my mind is how do people even come to fear like it's one thing
Well,
like if you fear like spiders or stuff like that, but to a person who doesn't have that phobia, you would think like how does a person even come to that? What do you think?
I would say it's because you get enough examples of it, and then you're like, yo, I think we need to classify this thing. It's called porphyrophobia.
Okay.
Porphyrophobia. The fear
Okay.
of the color purple is called porphyrophobia.
Mm-hmm.
It's a type of chromophobia, which is general fear of colors.
Mm-hmm.
People with
Mm.
porphyrophobia may experience severe anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I triggered Coco. I think I triggered Coco. Severe anxiety when they see or think of purple, obsessive thoughts about the color purple,
Mm-hmm.
compulsive behaviors such as avoiding purple objects or situations,
Mm-hmm.
physical symptoms like sweating, trembling, and rapid heartbeat may happen.
Mm.
Um, you know what there's a couple different ways that I could see this not being so weird.
Mm.
One is that you can have an association with something with that color purple. The way I have the association with Jay-Z in my older cousin's Honda Civic, Royal Blue Honda
Mm.
Civic,
Oh, okay.
knowing
Okay.
that's where I first like heard, I
Mm-hmm.
think it might have been Reasonable Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Reasonable Doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And like I just when I think of Royal Blue,
Mm-hmm.
I think of Reasonable Doubt, right? Or when I
Okay.
think of Jay-Z, I think of that Honda Civic, Royal
Mm-hmm.
Blue,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it could be something that happened and it just happens to be associated with that particular color.
Mm-hmm.
So it, but you might have one for orange, you might have one for red and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
right? So that's one way I could see it.
Mm-hmm.
Is the association with an event that has happened with the color purple was around. And the
Mm-hmm.
other way is light therapy is a thing.
Okay.
So if light therapy is a thing, they have skincare products that just use light, right? To do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have your plants, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you can get the special blue light on them, the red light. Matter of fact, going to sleep, they have us doing the thing on our phone now. We could do
Oh
like
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
remove the blue lighting from that joint.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
these
true.
colors are happening in our atmosphere
Mm-hmm.
and they're affecting us, like the physiology of it is affecting us in ways that the layperson doesn't realize,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you would never thought you need to eliminate blue lights before you go
Yeah.
to bed,
Yeah.
just walking around the world and the earth until
Mm-hmm.
somebody studied it. And they
Mm-hmm.
were like blue light. So there's probably a term for the blue light joint
Mm-hmm.
in terms of whatever effects it does. But to add the word fear to it is where you get the quote phobia from.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
So I could see
Yeah.
it. I could see it.
Mm.
But it's funny because I have like purple background right here.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's he mentioned what he was mentioning like some interesting phobias, but that was the one that really stuck with me. I
Yeah.
was like the color purple, and I was thinking what was my first reaction when he said that?
Bro,
I was like,
dog, that's probably
I was
why we don't get as many views that we probably should get.
it's because of your purple background.
I didn't change it to the green, so dog, I'm fucking it up. I'm like,
I'm
dog,
like,
this
dang,
looks interesting.
the purple background again.
Oh, that purple background. Damn, I can't do it.
It's just I guess it really struck me like as something strange. 'Cause I was like, why? Because it felt like such a random color. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I can understand red for like blood because maybe somebody
Mhm.
was in some kind of violent situation. I can understand blue if somebody drowned. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like I can
Drowning
understand
in water, somebody.
drowning in
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
So I was like there's certain colors that was like I can kind of understand certain colors, but I was like purple was so random to me. But until you read it out, you mentioned a couple
Yeah.
examples. Like, okay, I can see that. It's probably more so because of an association.
Or I
to
could see
something.
black if you think that the population is 52% black people.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Every time you watch the news, this niggas, you know, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
yeah. I mean,
I joke.
I mean, it's a programming. It's a programming.
Yo, I mean, I bet some of like the way I said earlier, I said before, like I like to see Ohio State lose. It's just like when I just see those colors, it's just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like, so I bet, especially in the heyday of like University of Miami versus like Florida State,
Oh yeah,
same
yeah.
state,
Mhm.
seeing crimson stuff probably triggers you. Like,
I ain't
joint,
gonna
like
lie.
this one.
I ain't gonna lie.
These
Yeah,
colors,
true.
bro.
That's
Don't
true.
sleep on color. Dog, Bloods and Crips. Come on, what are we talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Dog, this is even. Dog, this is
Yeah.
easy to
Yeah.
understand. Yo, dog,
Yeah.
that dude was spitting. Your pastor was spitting. That pastor
Yeah.
was spitting. Go.
So no, I thought it was a pretty good message, you know, and ultimately I think the conclusion that he came to was that just you don't need to fear, right? I mean, obviously it's easier said than done, right? But he was saying that the message of the good news is stronger than your fear. When you believe the message and you actually apply the principles of the message, that is, when I say the message, that is the good news, which is to say like the Bible, the principles that you find in the Bible. When you apply those things and you see how it affects your life in a positive way, it can help you deal with that fear.
So like, you can't just read up on it. You can't just come to church every Sunday.
You gotta apply.
those things.
You gotta
Okay.
apply the principles. And which anybody, regardless if you don't believe in the faith or not, which is applicable to anybody anywhere. If you apply principles in your life that helps to improve your life, that helps you to have value, that helps you to address, that helps you to boost your confidence, all these different things to help you to maintain
Let me be a better person overall.
just be a better person overall, having more
give
stable
to, you know what I
mental
mean,
fortitude.
be more value to the world.
Yeah, exactly. Like helping people, being someone
Yeah.
who is valuable, right? Being an asset. Like
See?
all these things can address whatever fears you may have. They can be something that can help you, right? So and I was like, that's spot on. I was like, that's spot on. But you have to put in the work, right? You have to apply these things to see the real change in your life, right? So that was essentially the message, and that's my challenge to everyone else is whatever good is in your life, whatever your foundation is as a person, whether you believe in the same faith that I believe, if you're Muslim or whatever, like whatever your faith is, or whatever you use as
Your worldview.
your worldview, whatever is
Yeah.
fundamentally gives you purpose in life. Take the good out of that, apply it in your life, and see what it does for whatever fear you may have.
And the
That's
more
ultimately what it is.
more you enhance and build and feed that part of you,
Mm-hmm.
the less the fear gets fed.
Yeah, yeah,
And you can,
yeah.
you know, you'll be even more strapped up and you know what I mean, resilient
Mm-hmm.
to where those fear triggers come in.
Yep.
When that purple comes in, you mean you have enough green and red in your life. You know, you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about
you be like, yeah, that purple ain't going. You know what I'm saying?
fuck a purple people eater.
So
Oh,
that's
and
my,
Barney
that's my
too. What
challenge.
color was Barney? Was Barney purple? Barney was purple.
Oh
right?
man,
Purple
he was
dinosaur?
a deep purple. Barney was a
You know
deep
what I mean?
purple.
Like off with his head.
Yeah, for sure. So that's my challenge. What you got, bro?
So this challenge has been brewing since August.
Mhm.
I'm happy to say I finally got my PMP. Your boy is a certified project management professional.
Congrats, bro. That's a big accomplishment for sure. That PNP
Appreciate
ain't
appreciate
easy.
you. It is not easy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my journey started off, like I said, in August. When I first went to the boot camp. There's a boot camp. There's different ways you can do like a weekend type of boot camp. We could do like a full week. You gotta take time off for work and all that kind of stuff to do the boot camp to get you you get some hours from that. You need these particular hours of experience. Plus, but you have to have hours in your work experience also to even be able to take the exam. And so I
interesting.
took the boot camp and then I had to study for it on my own.
Hold on. Can you expand on that a little bit? You said you have to have work hours, like they have to
Yep.
see your pay stub or something like that.
Not
Wait,
pay stub, but like project management experience.
Oh, project man.
You have to have had some
Oh.
experience in project
Project
management
management?
type of work.
Huh.
Even
Okay.
before you take the, I think even before you take the, well, they made you do fill out all that stuff. When you fill out the stuff to take the exam,
Mm-hmm.
um, the the people in the classroom tell you, the instructor tells you at the boot camp, they're like, to take the exam, we're gonna need to count for this. You know what I mean? So that's
Mm-hmm.
part of the of even being eligible to do it. Anyways,
Okay.
I
It's
bro, I didn't
interesting.
even really know what project management was. I didn't know it was an industry. I didn't know it was a way of work
Mm-hmm.
until like last year. Right?
Hmm.
I think I might have heard somebody being a project manager, but I mean, I just thought that was just like a job title. I mean, operations manager is a job title.
Yeah.
Analyst is a job title. So project management was just another job title as far as I knew. But I didn't know it was like a whole other study. It's a study. And I learned that it's a whole field study. They got books and different paradigms that go into it. Turns out some stuff that I learned through other sources was incorporated into project management. Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's something that's used in project management when it comes to people management, resource management. I didn't think about that. Gantt charts. Yeah, well, Gantt charts is pretty obvious to be it's how to schedule things when you do a project. Um, but there's all kinds of stuff that earned value management, right? I didn't really think about that being something project management heavy. So it's all been like it's all been collected and colgated into in a book, a way of work, a philosophy of work.
Hmm.
Me being from coming from the Navy with the logistics background,
Yeah.
I now discovered this thing. I'm like, yo, this is my language. We talking about like Six Sigma type of stuff. We're talking about
Mm-hmm.
um budget management. We're talking about uh life cycles, all of that, first in, first out, all these things in order to manage a project, manage a product, develop the product. Bro, I was doing when I first became a government contractor, I was doing work. I was doing project management work without even realizing it.
Mm-hmm. I'm doing a little
They
bit of
asked
that
me
right
to do
now.
something.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me to do something. They use all this jargon, all these. I'm like, I really don't know what dude said, but I was taking notes and I took my black ass to YouTube University and I learned like on the job and then performed what they actually needed
Mm-hmm.
just from what stuff that I just freaking Googled or YouTube.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to 2023 when I learned there's a whole freaking school of thought for this thing. Y'all could have saved me all that damn trouble.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it was a thing. And it turns out my freaking job pays for it. Because that bit is a bit of grip. That's
Yeah.
some bread.
My job pays for certifications too, so it works out.
So I studied for this thing. I went to boot camp. They paid for that. I studied for it.
Hmm.
I took my first attempt in October and I failed
Hmm. They pay they reimburse you for the boot camp too, man.
for the boot camp.
That's fire. That's fire.
I took that
People,
joint and
people
the
don't
boot
know.
camp come with the book and stuff like that. But I bought an extra book to study also.
Mm-hmm.
But I failed that joint. October, so I took the boot camp in August. So from August to October, well, it was early October, but still, I studied through the rest of August.
Mm-hmm.
Past my birthday, all of September, early October, I went into that joint and I failed. Thing is, like when I failed, I was taking the exam and I was like, "Yo, this joint is easy."
Mm-hmm.
I actually studied, like I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like bullshit, and you know what I mean. I actually studied, like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, this one is easy."
Mm-hmm.
Um, I get to the end, the final screen, and from what everybody told me, it's like, "Yo, yeah, you get your score right away. You get your results right away." I'm thinking when I get my results right away, meaning like I'm gonna be on the, I'm gonna look at the screen and like final answer, review questions, submit. Are you sure? Yes. Boom. Here's your score. You pass or fail.
Mm-hmm.
My screen just went black. My screen went black. I was like,
Mm.
uh, I called the proctor over. She comes.
Mm.
I'm like, my screen just turned off. I didn't get my score. She's like, oh no, they'll have something for you printed out up front.
Oh, okay.
But from what I know, I was supposed to get my score on the screen. I was like, oh fuck, I must have failed.
Mm.
I must have failed. Dang, I didn't get my score on the screen. Dang, man, I studied for this joint. I must have failed. I go outside the testing room and everything, and I go to the guy at the front desk. Before I even get there, the dude is looking sad. He looking at me like I'm looking at him.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And there's not a lot of people there because
Yeah.
this is like the local joint
Mm.
that I'm at. And so this is a smaller test center.
Mm-hmm.
And like he folds that paper in half and it prints out. I'm like, it printed out. He grabbed it, just handed me that bit. No, he had
Yeah.
like fold that
that's
bit in half. I'm standing here watching
that's
him.
crazy. Yeah.
I'm
Crazy that he
like,
doing that.
oh, I fucking failed. I fucking failed. I
Mm.
know it. So I grabbed it and I took a deep breath. I opened it up and it said, we regret to inform you. And I was like, I just felt crushed.
Mm.
I said I was in the waiting room right there, and I just sat there for a minute rereading it. And I'm like, am I really reading this? Like, dang, I felt crushed.
Mm.
I'm be honest with you, Jeff. I felt dumb.
Mm.
I felt dumb. I felt like, yo, I'm not smart enough. I'm like, I'm not.
I know what that's like.
I'm like, I'm done learning. I'm old. You
Mm.
can't, I mean, I'm guess I'm old. I've learned enough. And I've made it as far as I'm gonna get in terms of like the smarts.
Mm.
I felt like a failure. I tried, Jeff.
Mm.
I wouldn't feel the type of way if I knew I was bullshitting.
Mm.
But I tried. I studied. I freaking didn't do things that I wanted to do for leisure
Mm.
because I was going to stay home and study.
Yeah.
I need to give myself some time. I took 2 weeks off of not looking at the thing, but like, man, I was ready to like, bro, I was gonna regret like burn these books. You know what I mean? Throw them away, be done with them. You know what I mean? And but like, cause like every day I walk by, these books will be on the counter or on the table staring at me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, boom, I had to get it in. I had to study. So I'm like, I'm finally gonna get to put these things away, and I freaking failed that joint. So I gave myself 2 weeks, rescheduled it. Right? I'm like, I need to take it again. What I discovered about how I failed it though, kind of started giving me a little bit more pep in my step because I had took a practice exam a little while earlier before I took the real exam.
Mm-hmm.
And in that practice exam, I had a low score on this one segment. This test is broken up into 3 segments.
Mm-hmm.
Business environment, people, and business process, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had got a really low score on business environment. At one point when I took a practice exam.
Mm-hmm.
So the last 2 weeks leading up to my test, when I failed it, that first test, I went hard on business environment. I was studying that joint like I neglected the other stuff because I got decent scores on the other stuff.
Okay.
I got decent scores on the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, business environment is only 8% of the freaking test.
You basically wasted a lot of time.
8% of the test.
Yeah.
Business process is 50% of the
50
test.
ball. That's crazy.
A 50 ball on you, boy.
That's crazy.
And that's what I freaking like scored. Though I killed that environment. Though. Of course I killed the environment joint. Yeah. 8%.
It wouldn't make sense though the business process is that much because it's business processes.
But like I thought business environment was because business environment is like it is talking about more about the law of the land kind of thing. It is talking about what kind of resources the businesses have, what kind of software they use for their business, and how many, what kind of employees they got,
No, you need to know what keeps the lights on, man. That's business processes. At the end of the day, it's about the dollar. So that's gonna be the most important part.
So I blew that. You know what I mean? Yeah. The people part, I think I did decent on that the first time I don't remember, but like, yo, if you fail the 50% portion, you're gonna fail the whole.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter how well you're doing the other ones.
It doesn't matter. So I like boom, my peep game. So that kind of helped me feel a little bit better about myself. Like, oh no, I'm not just dumb. I just studied the wrong thing at the wrong time, right? Because I was doing good at business process at first, but then like I neglected it towards the end because I was studying on this other stuff. My second attempt was coming, and I had like, let me be honest with myself. I don't feel confident. I don't feel confident about that joint. So let me, you know what? Let me push it back a couple weeks, because I was kind of like a little slow in getting back to the studies, and I wasn't going as hard as I did that first time around. So I'm like, man, I don't want to fail this joint again. Let me take a couple. So it cost me some bread to push it back.
Yeah.
It didn't cost me as much to reschedule the whole test now, but it cost me a little bit. And so I was like, it's worth it to not get into the failure.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a lot of money. You're gonna have to, you know what I mean? You don't want to pay for it out of your pocket. You know what I mean? And my company, I think at this point I maxed out how much my company was gonna pay. They paid for the boot camp and for the exam already. You know what I mean? Plus I got extra books and all that kind of stuff. So they're like, okay, you maxed out your budget for the year. So I pushed it out a couple weeks, and I took my second attempt on December 11th. So this was just like 2 weeks ago. And I'm sitting there taking the test. Well, before I take the test, I'm talking to people that's there. I'm like telling them, yo, it's my second attempt. You know what I mean? They're talking to me a little bit. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of conversation going around. People like, oh, this is my first attempt kind of thing. And so I'm giving some people points like, hey, do this. Here's where I went wrong kind of thing. One of the things that I didn't do well was, while you're taking a test, there's an option to flag a question.
Yeah.
So matter of fact, I'm putting this out there for everybody for test taking in these environments.
Yeah.
Even
Saves
if
you
it's not
time.
the PNP. Is this. Go through your questions. Flag the ones that answer it, but flag it, right? Because you don't want to forget not to answer, leave something blank. Answer it, but flag it. Put a flag on it, because at the end, if you have enough time, you'll be able to come back and review that question.
Yep.
Here's the kicker that people that I realized late in the game is that while you're taking the exam, you may be struggling on question number 3, but come to find out, question number 17 sometimes gives you straight facts. This is that about this industry, and this is that. And those facts that aren't even asking you to speculate anything actually answer question 3.
Yeah.
So you're learning and still being able to study. Matter of fact, what I did was I had my my notepad, and sometimes I run into some facts, because they have to give you, sometimes they have to set up the premise
Yeah.
for them to then
To
ask you a question.
Yep.
So the premise would have straight facts about the PMP, straight facts about the industry, straight facts about, even if it's a coding exam that you're taking or something like that. They'll be like, well, we know this is this and that and that. So what is this other thing? I'm like, before I look at this other thing, you said we know this, right? This is a fact right here. I'll jot that down. And so then at the end, when I have time, I'll make sure I leave myself some time. I'll go back and review those questions. Sometimes, and a lot of times I'll have the information. Because if I forgot it or I didn't study it, I've gathered it through just taking the exam. So I was telling them stuff like that. You know what I mean? We're chatting it up. And I'm taking the exam, and I'm like, yo, this is easy. And I was like, oh no, this is easy. That's what I said last time. I'm like, oh snap. I need to check myself. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? So I start digging into some questions, and I'm taking too long. I'm running out of time. Right? So boom, we get our break, our standard break, get a second segment, and I am rushing through this drink. I'm trying to catch up. Because I lost so much time that first one. I'm trying to catch up. So I'm like, damn, I'm rushing through some of these questions. I'm not taking enough time to analyze these questions, right? So I'm all in my head in the middle of this damn test.
Yeah.
We get to the end, the final section, and I feel like I kind of caught up to where I'm supposed to be, but I'm still worried about that second segment. Test ends, my goddamn screen goes black.
Wow. Okay.
My freaking screen goes black, dog. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I failed it again. That's about freaking right, because I knew I was rushing through that second segment. Right? Raise my hand. She comes up. This is a different test center. This is in the heart of DC. This joint is packed now.
Yeah.
Right? Because the small spot didn't have any more. When I had to reschedule, the small spot didn't have any slots. So I had to go to DC, go to the main spot. And we lined up. She's got papers folded. I'm like, damn, we all failed? Like, damn, we all failed. And I ain't say nothing, because it's my second attempt. you know. But she was like, "Oh, actually, I need y'all to go get y'all stuff out y'all lockers first, and then y'all come back and get y'all results." And I went to the locker and I was talking to one person. I was like, she said something to me, and I was like, yeah, last time I had to, you know, they had to fold the paper and the print out for me. It didn't work out for your boy,
Mm.
right? So I'm like, it wasn't good news. So I'm like, I gotta get mine too. So I'm like, okay, I'm already expecting to have failed this thing. I get my coat on, grab the piece of paper. Everybody grab their paper. People start walking out, and I'm like, let me just wait till I get outside. And this, I was like, couldn't help myself. I peeked. I opened it. I peeked and said, "Congratulations, bruh."
Is
You
it?
know
Is
how I
it?
felt last time?
Yeah. Yeah. Is it? Is it a pass? Is it a pass fail thing, or is it like a
Yeah,
score? Oh, okay.
no
Yeah.
score.
Yeah.
Pass fail.
Yeah.
What they
What?
do is a couple of days later,
Mm,
they'll tell you the sections that you work on.
mm,
Again, three sections: business
mm,
environment, business process, or people.
mm,
Um, and so that joint said congratulations, and I was like, oh shit, I passed.
yeah.
Oh shit, and I immediately had to step off the side, take a picture of that
That's
joint.
dope, man. Yeah.
You know, and that
You didn't
was
get
the
that bit in the
complete
mail,
opposite.
did?
Nah, they just email you that joint. They
Cause
just
you made
email you.
okay. They don't
They
get
just email you that joint, but
it's
it don't
okay.
matter because like I'm registered in their system.
Yeah, and this
So
is so you
anybody who
good,
needs to
yeah.
look me up, they go
Mm-hmm.
see I'm certified in that
You
joint.
certify you good, yeah.
But like I from feeling like, bro, you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
Yeah. That's how I felt when I got my when I got one of the certification I got at the beginning of the year. Yeah.
Did you ever fail it first though?
No, it was my first time taking it. I
Really?
thought I failed it though. But I took like 8 practice exams before I took that exam.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got into the exam, if I felt like I was failing it, and I was like, bro, I did pretty well on the
That
practice
joint does
exams,
a number on your
and
psyche,
it
don't
does,
it?
yeah, yeah, it really affects you mentally for sure, yeah, absolutely. I definitely felt like I was feeling it,
But
and
a
then when I got the
challenge
screen,
ain't a challenge, bro. You ain't feeling that
yeah,
pressure.
yeah, yeah, but when I got that score at the end, boy, I almost did a backflip in that joint. I was like, man, I
Bro.
was
And so
so
now I
happy. I
realize,
understand. So I understand.
now I realize why they print out the score and not show you on the screen
Mm,
because you're still in the room where everybody's testing. Imagine I'm in that bitch fist pumping. I'm like, let's go!
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go!
yeah,
While people
yeah,
still trying to take the exam. Because some
yeah.
people might react like that. You know what I mean?
Mm,
When they get so like, you know what, let's take this person out the room, we'll print it out, and you get your scores out there. So
mm,
it makes sense now. But
yeah.
I don't know why people kept telling me you get your score right away.
Mm.
Maybe they said right away,
They
and
said it
it's
right
just
away because
me.
it's like right outside. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
interpreted, like we
You
talk about
interpret it.
interpretations here,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
right away meant on my
Yeah.
screen.
Hmm.
But no, they meant go outside. They're gonna print that joint
Yeah.
out, and you get your freaking score. So I actually don't really need project management for anything. I don't need it for my job.
Hmm.
Really.
Hmm.
Um, but they were willing to pay for it, and
Sure.
it also
Yeah.
gave me a chance to for professional development.
Hmm.
And we were always talking about pon la vie change tempo.
Yeah.
Um, learning new things, expanding yourself, developing professionally,
Hmm.
personally, emotionally.
Hmm.
Why not? You know, the job's gonna pay for it. Why not
Yeah.
try something, push your limits to see where you got like and right now, and I did have doubts before, but I feel like I could learn the freaking piano now or some shit.
Mm.
I could feel like I just up and learn French.
Yeah.
Like today, me at
Mm.
my age.
Mm.
It's not too late. I just learned this whole brand new industry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like it's expanded the whole universe to me now. And if I wanted to, really low key, having that alone, you can demand whatever job you're looking for. So if you're out there
Pretty
thinking of,
much.
you know, you could demand at least 20K more,
Yeah.
whatever they're posting it,
Mm.
whatever they're posting, you could demand 20K more, and they'll be like, oh, he's got the certification. Oh, yeah,
Mm.
that's logical.
Yeah. I've actually I've considered the PMP, but there's some other
It's a big
certifications.
thing for in the software industry.
Yeah, yeah, which is why I
Yeah.
thought about it. But there's some other certifications I'm actually interested in before getting into that. So we'll see. But I feel like I'll probably end up acquiring something like that. That's it sometime in the future for
I
sure.
recommend it. Now since I've gotten it, I'm already looking to see what I want to do next. Cause like
Mm-hmm.
I get this budget every year,
Yeah.
and I've worked for this company for so many years. and I've never taken advantage of this stuff. You know, but I get
Yeah.
all kind of benefits from the military as well. And they would have paid for it too, no doubt. But like to know that these things are just there, just waiting for you to freaking expand your mind, waiting for me. It was on me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
This is why mentors help, because mentors can be like, hey, have you ever thought about this and kind of thing. But also, even if you don't have a mentor, just having somebody that you could kick ideas off of they're like a little bit more elevated in their career, that could help you just like even like just bring your awareness
Yeah.
to something that could um make you better, that's beneficial for your career development or just your everyday life, bro. I feel like there's all kinds of stuff in my life that's like projects that I do.
Yeah.
From doing your laundry to going on vacation with the group or even hosting a house party. Um these are events that are pretty much projects.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Once again, like, comment, subscribe. This is at another challenge day. You feel me? So,
Sure.
we definitely want you guys to hit us up. Talk to us. We talk back. And I'm gonna remind you again, like, comment, subscribe. It'll get us on your feed. You'll be able to be notified when things drop, clips, shorts, full episodes, of course. So you'll be plugged in with us, and
Happy holidays out there. You know what I
for
mean? We'll see
sure.
you on the other side of this joint by the time next time you see us again. You
Yes,
know, if
sir.
you're
Yes,
doing the
sir.
Hanukkah, the Kwanzaa, the
And Christmas and all that.
Christmas and all
Yep.
that. Winter
Yep.
solstice.
Absolutely.
Shout out to my
Yeah.
pagans.
And yeah, make sure you spend time with your families, man. This is a good time to do that, and this is also a season for giving too. So definitely, if you have the ability to give to the homeless, give coats to children, hospitals,
Charity.
charity.
Yeah.
There's definitely time to do that for sure. So I definitely, my church is really big on giving, give a lot. My church gives a lot, which is why, as congregants in our church, we like to give to our church a lot because we know they give a lot to the community and all that. So I definitely
Nice.
want to implore everybody to make sure that you guys definitely find an opportunity to give to somebody less fortunate. So we appreciate y'all, and that's that. Stay safe, y'all.
Pour la vue. Je te pour.
It's challenge day.